Hello, chat. How's it going? Good to see everyone in here. Gonna do that thing where I draw some adverts now, so we don't have to do that thing where we you know, have adverts in game. Team IG and sorry, Team W versus IG, the oldest rivalry within the LPL, our founding rivalry. These two teams have propped up this region for a number of years. Longer than my last relationship? Jesus. Your stream streak? Jeez. I thought you were being like IG. If it was if it was IGWE, then that's actually like a 12-year rivalry, and that's actually quite a long time to know something. So that would have been less sad. That would have been like, oh, that's a very long relationship.
我们邀请到的是 WE 的 T 恤马来接受我们的赛前采访，先有请他跟大家打声招呼。
Hello， 大家好，我是 WE 主教练 T 恤马。
欢迎 T 恤马，首先要恭喜 WE 时隔1388天再次晋级了 LPL 季后赛的4强。作为教练，你带队走到这里，最深刻的感触会是什么呢？
因为我们其实这一路就是挺坎坷的嘛，然后从最后一个就是登峰组名额到现在，其实就我们一路的话，我觉得就是跟大家努力分不开关系吧，就是哪怕我们当中碰到了很多挫折，但是我们都克服过去，我觉得这也是最大感触吧，能走到这里的原因。
我相信很多观众也同样有这样的感触。那很多人看到今天的这一个对战图 ，IG 对战 WE， 有一种时光倒流的感觉。那在今天这一场焦点战之前，作为教练有什么想要对队员们说的叮嘱的话呢？
因为我觉得就是我们走到这里的话，就是因为我们的信念吧，就是我们是一个就是比较无所畏惧的队伍。我觉得我们就是不管对手是谁，我们只有专注打好自己的。然后我希望的话，今天的话，我们就是把这个东西执行到底，我们只好打好自己的，不要管输赢，就是结果如何，我觉得对我们来说，就是我们能学到东西就好了。
好，期待你们的表现。
Hey, sorry, I hope that didn't like stop the screen for a second. I've got CPU's kind of running a bit high right now, so I'm just closing out some programs in the background.
先有请他跟大家打声招呼。
Yeah.
Hello， 大家好，我是 IG 副主 Michael。
今天你们即将要和 WE 交手，他们一路的表现堪称是黑马逆袭，所以你是如何评价当前这一支 WE 的竞技状态呢？
我觉得 WE 最近是状态火热吧，然后也是刚刚赢了滔博，然后感觉他们现在发挥挺好的。
那你觉得在今天这一场焦点战之中，作为焦点或者是制胜的核心要素会是什么呢？
我觉得重要的是我们要防住 WE 的进攻吧，他们现在的进攻欲望很强。
我相信大家都非常期待这一场焦点战，就让我们一同来看看今天这一场比赛吧。
观看20英雄联盟职业联赛第2赛段，您可以通过英雄联盟客户端找上英雄联盟及英雄联盟赛事官网 LPL.QQ.com、虎牙直播、斗鱼直播、哔哩哔哩直播、咪咕视频、腾讯视频、腾讯体
I'm
育、
back again.
新浪微博、微信视频号进行
Let's
收
get
看。
the shy.
电视
The
机前
shy
的
is
召
gonna
唤师
lose to
可
the
以通
goat
过百视
monkey.
通平台收看
Yep,
全程
that
赛
is
事。
about what I
嗨
expected
来
from
认识一下
from
这
this.
位新队友，全新沉淀长轴距 CLA。李宁英雄联盟泳池派对2025新品现已上市，京东618搜赛事预测，10万份游戏好礼免费送，我在场就是主场。莫兹利安为 LPL 奶一口。全新 OPPO Find X8 系列夜景人像神器，夜拍超清晰，人像 MVP。TCL 全屋智慧家电，峡谷英雄敢为不凡。2025 LPL 官方指定家电产品。更受电竞用户喜欢的能量饮料，有能量当然占马。傲风电竞椅连续5年中国电竞椅销量第1。开一局吗？开就开，保护有度度，尽情开一局。感谢全场保护的杜蕾斯。英特尔酷睿 Ultra 200HX 冷酷高手 AI 助攻。
W have knocked out
战士
JGG
来
and Top
袭
Esports, IG next. It could absolutely happen. Could absolutely happen.
欢迎来到2025英雄联盟职业联赛第2赛段淘
Well,
汰
you know,
赛。
IG did have the
这里是京东
2-0
电子
series
竞技中
head-to-heads
心
them in
让有
Ascend.
请
W
西
have
安
grown since then.
WE Invictus Gaming。
IG hit the stage. W as well. I believe they walk out at the same time. Did I have a good off day yesterday? Yes, I did.
有请上单 Cube The Shy。
Morning, Eli.
打野 Monkey 杰杰。
Morning, Popol. Morning, Mustard. Morning, everyone who's coming in.
中单 Caris Rookie。下路 Penyo Gala。
Wait, Cube and the Shy? The Cube? Gotta go to Bendigo to get my green cube. Anyone else
辅
watch
助 Vampire。
The Thing? What's it
Mako.
called? The Bushworld Adventures? It's great. Hello, Angie. I know you're in the other
LPL 第
room,
2赛
but
段
hello.
淘汰赛第10日，西安 WE 对上 IG 即将开始 ，LPL 无畏进巅峰。
Close towards that game now. Let's the idea. Sal comes through in a bit. Is the camera active? Yeah, it is. Cool, nice. Nice when the camera's working. So yeah, Sam and I are gonna, you know, cast these games. For the second game, I have a meeting which I only quickly need to dip out to. It's about, like, financial stuff. Like, I need to, like, get... It's an accountant meeting. Like, so I do actually need to, like, go and take that seriously. So it's only for, like, half an hour. I should be able to dip back in. But yeah, second game, I should be... I'm gonna be off doing that, basically. I need to figure out how I'm gonna do that, actually. Am I gonna use Sam's PC, or am I gonna do it on phone? I'll figure it out. Ugh. First game, that tends to be where IG are weaker, and also where W tend to be stronger. I think that the longer the series goes, WE's champion will start to get a little more limited, We'll see whether IG actually punished that. One of the big reasons why WE beat Top Esports is because when it got through into the last games of that series, I think that Top Esports really disrespected target banning out champions at the end of it. You know, not banning out stuff like the Nautilus in Game 4 and Crisp going 0-6. You know, after Vampire had actually had quite a poor series actually versus Top Esports. Letting him have his comfort champions in the last game of the series, the last couple of games of the series was a mistake. It was a mistake. So as we come into game 1 here, WE, they will get their comfort picks, you know, stuff like Rise Talia for Karis, perhaps something like the Rumble, or, well, we're seeing more carries out of Cube actually, less so the tank top laners, which he was succeeding on before. Let blue side win. Blue side does win an awful lot. We're getting into our first game. Nymaera, of course, behind WE. It has been a very long time since WE and IG have faced off in a best of 5. Hey, Don, good to see you. Been a long time since these two have faced off in a best of 5. However, they are the founding rivalry of the LPL. WE and IG have been rivals for a very, very long time. But it has been since 2017 that these teams have faced off, which I believe was the Shy's first ever split actually when he came into play. WEIG. So, Talia banned away, Vi banned away. What else do we have up? That's well, Rumble's a big one right now. Rumble, Pantheon, Shinzao. With the Yorick gone, that changes some things. Trundle gets taken away from Monkey, which of course, that was another pick which was very important in their last series as well. Monkey has been powerful on that all the time. Uzir locked in, no Talia counter. Chance for something like Rise Pantheon though. Or something like Galio. Even better. Oh no, you've just given over Rumble Varus. Both of these are very, very good into the Azir potentially. They choose not to take the Varus though. The Rumble, yes, I think you take that straight up, but not taking the Varus. Surprised. Gonna give that now up to WE. Ngala could go towards the Jhin. JJ takes up that Poppy. Could of course go down towards bot side as well. Did give him respect the WE hype, but IG is getting underrated. Yeah, for sure. No, IG, you know, they blasted their way through Weibo, and they also defeated WE twice during Group Ascend. Their last time facing them, I will note, WE beat them very heavily in the early game, and IG had to dig deep to beat them in the late game. So, and I do think WE have improved since then. So I think that WE, you know, they have a good shot. However, IG did beat them the only times they faced off in this split so far. And I think IG have also improved as well. Skarner comes in for Monkey. It's not a dash champion, allows you to engage through the Poppy, but the Jhin comes through, so you have Jhin Rumble. No, you don't get the Varus Rumble, which I think is more potent for IG, if they had gotten that. But they do get that Jhin, and Gala is a very good player of the champion. WE's early game will be very dangerous for IG to handle, I agree. Hey, good to see you, Lambani. Mecca, the dirty pig. That's one way to type that message. Okay, going into our second round. Renata banned away from Vampire. You know, I would have actually let him have it. I don't think he's been that good at the Renata. Because he's more likely now to go towards, I guess, something like an Alistair. Yeah, I think on the whole, WE's early game has been very good, but IG's late game has been better. I think that's a good read on it. Should WE not be favorites? Well, I think it's a closer matchup than some people think. I think a lot of people are buying in too much to the WE hype. However, on the other side of things, they have just beaten 2 very good seeds. They were slumping to 2 top seeds, but but yet they were still valid wins. IG on the other side though, yeah, they got blasted by BLG, but they've stomped their way through every other match they've gone through, I think. Silas Yone banned away from Rookie, so some engaging threats taken away from him. Not really sure what he's going to go into the Azir now. Akali's not bad, I suppose. Especially with the Renata gone and all that's gone. Yeah, Akali looks pretty good for Rookie here now. Decent matchup into the Azir, double dive. He can take away the Alistair from Vampire. Mako's obviously is one of his most played of all time. The else is locked in. So Vampire, what does he go towards? Does he, do you take the Rel now? Hey, Sam, good to see you. I think he probably takes the Rel right now. If you go towards the Braum, well, I guess you do have Varus for some engage. The Skarner for some others. Not a big fan of the Braum, though. One, because he's not the best player of it. Again, the engage supports are the ones where he gets the most out of them. But then also wanting to play something which, you know, disengage against the Rumble. Braum's not great against the Rumble. The Ornn's locked in as well. Ornn, you know, it's a return to the tank top laners for Cube. Rookie last pick now. Ah, yeah, Ahri's not bad here. It's not that much to catch out the Ahri, actually. I would have almost preferred the Akali still. But I guess into Skarner on Braum. Braum very good at anti-melee. The Ahri locked in. Rookie for me is a top 4 Ahri in the world. Did I comment on the Amir Masters draw already? I did on stream. I think I did. Maybe not. I didn't on Twitter because Sam already did it for me. That's the kind of draw which a double elimination saves. That, like, if you have such changing seeds from split to split between regions and the relative strength of regions, because there's so many roster moves and blah 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 between splits, you need a double elimination to fix the bad draws, which sucks really. So first draft locked in. I think IG, they have very good ability to reach the backline through the Rumble. Need some ways to pin that down. Other side, very good tank frontline for Team WE, trying to protect their backline. However, there is a worry that Braum Skarner don't do enough to protect the backline against an equalizer, because they can't stop that right there. So I think early game, actually the champions this time, the early game champions definitely go towards the side of IG, not necessarily what I would have expected from, I guess, these two team identities. WE have been much more the early game team, IG more the late game. IG have the early game champions though. 1 item spike will be ridiculous. WE coming online more around the 2 and 3 item spike.
That's always a bit risky for me. When WE, when we've liked them at their best, it has often been with their early games being really dominant, really scary. And if you're giving some of that up to IG, it could be a touch of a risk. Of course, if it works out, the payout can be great. Your team fight this game, your range this game looks pretty fantastic with all of the front line and then the back line of the Azir and the Varus. I'm just looking at the other side and they're going, well, that mid jungle, that Alistair can get a lot done here.
Expect the crowd to be very loud here today, folks. Let's hear those gyros.
Valiant efforts from both cheering squads there. I think the WE fans are starting to come out of the woodwork a bit the more they're realising their team is actually performing, and Partake is perhaps a little bit behind them. Could all end today, of course. Wouldn't even be that much of a surprise. Top 4 is already a remarkable achievement for this squad. It's just going to be a bit of a fight over that wall. The Shy will throw out an Electro Harpoon, but no one's going to do anything silly like flash Heroic Charge or anything.
Nope, not this time. That'll be for a later game in the series. And, you know, going...
It's Fearless will be able to do that Heroic Charge thing. That's a Poppy thing only, remember?
Hey, there are other people that have flash charge abilities.
Well, yeah, but it would be Heroic Charge now, would it?
If you scream something very noble as you do it, perhaps it would be. Jeje going to escape vision on top side, on bot side rather, starting on Wolves, not seen. There was a ward on Blue and Raptors though, so by process elimination, they are quite likely to know he's starting on Wolves. Mako goes in, gets used that Braum passive. This is the problem, the Alistair versus the Braum. Could be a real pain. The Jhin and the Varus pretty happy to trade off. Vampire overstaying there, actually. It's a bit of a problem. He walks over the Glacial. I don't think he respected that and took a lot of damage back.
Still gets control of the wave, just Taehyun on the whole. Should get the majority of these casted a little earlier. Although holding that fourth shot, Taehyun's got to back off it and eats a bit of a chunk back. Vampire lands the passive with the auto. Ends up just being a bit of a scuffle over. I think level 2 should be taken.
No, it should be, but it should always be there. The fact that they took so much damage getting to it actually means that Gala and Mako are outperforming the 2v2 for level 1. Because again, like, the Braum is so powerful at that level. The Shine Cube fighting off on this top side. Really, when you get towards level 4 and the second level of Flame Spitter, that's when the Rumble takes over most top lane matchups. Good there, dodging the Molten Spire Cube. Quite hard to do that. Won't get the Brittle proc onto him either this time. It's only applied, not procced.
Is it Molten Spire? I always had it down as Volcanic Rupture. You might be right, but now I'm second guessing myself, and I know not the truth.
Don't I don't make me question that. Hello, Solar Puppy, and hello, Makamachi, by the way. Hope you're doing well. Monkey down on bot side. This is a classic. Get down towards. Oh, Mako might need to blow his flash now. No, Monkey not going in just yet.
I think he's waiting for the Excel's impact drive. There it is. Looks to get a hold of one. Not quite enough. Gala
yes, it is.
Think about getting some more done. The cleanse will not be enough, and he's dead.
He doesn't use the cleanse. He flashed into the Excel's impact. He flashed into it. Monkey picks him up and drives him back, and nothing else to survive with. First blood to WE.
Mako left under this turret. Will just have to be there, mourning the loss of his AD carry.
Gala misjudging his summoner spell there. Maybe just a little bit panicked, getting ganked that early, but losing the flash and then also dying. If you'd just taken it and then flashed backwards, you might have lived, but using the flash and still dying, that's awful.
That one kind of sucks. GJ gets a charge into the wall, but Monkey will to drive through it, so should be okay here.
Mako's coming over now, though. Bout recall from bot lane has completed. Jeja's still going to be able to get in towards the enemy jungle, though, so it's kill for camp steals. Jeja ahead in terms of XP. We'll take a quick raptor steal.
Monkey can't really start up his red buff fully. Mako and JJ still over here. Vampire's come across, but remember, Monkey's still at half HP, makes it a bit tricky. Gets flash charge, will get driven around, flashes away himself. Ends up being a lot of trades of summoners there, but doesn't really lead to all that much. JJ, I think, overforces that a little bit. Gala's roamed, as has Rookie. Taeyun's got a wave to clear and doesn't want to really leave. Red buff being taken, potentially stolen. Over comes Karis as well. Where, oh where, is that Alistair?
Oh, Monkey's coming over. JJ no flash now, fails another wall stun.
Monkey tries to get something back, can't quite get it, but the passive comes on down onto GJ, but the full shot comes on back. Deadly Forest coming across. Flash over from Taeyun, turns it around. Red buff now on top of the Varus. Make this one a bit scary in the 3v3. Rookie with very limited mana. Mako got a flash, got a heal, got to use one or the other. Decides that the flash is the wiser choice for now. Gala with no flash, has nowhere to run. Needs to think about backing away. The headbutt away.
Oh, Mako
alive.
No!
And now Mako's got it, trying to keep his AD carry alive. And gives over a third in the play.
Jeje fails 2 flash wall stuns in the play, and that's the difference maker. They do have the damage, they do have the early game champions, but they misexecute, and specifically the bot lane and Jeje misexecute. The early 2v2 depriving Gala and Mako of some of their summoners, and of course Jeje now overforcing, as you were rightfully saying, leaves them at an early game disadvantage when they were the ones that picked towards the early game, and it's where WWE have so often been so scary.
Cube now might not be in a spot of bother here. The Shy just hit 6 and Cube needs a minion or two before he can get to that. I'm not sure whether he's going to be given the option. Over comes Monkey though. Can maybe look to come and defend this. Can drive through the wall. JJ shoves him out of the Excel but the level 6 from the wave comes on through. Cube looking for an angle onto the Shy, but the Equalizer buys some time and space. In the end, I think W can get towards the wave and IG will be proxy farming a little bit, but shouldn't realistically be going down here.
Yeah, Shy needs to be a little careful standing next to that wall. But yeah, I think this is going to be a complete disengage on the top side. No one else roaming up. Cube still has flash. Jeje could go over.
So strictly, could Monkey try to drag Cube out of danger? They're going to get some flash away. Shy will also flash. Trade of top lane summoners.
Ari's now coming up. Ari just hit level 6. She can potentially get some kills here. Rookie has the triple tonic and Elixir of Wrath running.
Try to get the Nimbus straight slow, and they get some value. Cube now in danger, and the resets come on through. Nice dive, well done from Invictus Gaming to get some Vengeance back as JJ just survives the warmed up turret.
Karis is going to come up and try and collect that wave, not able to snipe up any kills. But yeah, this is the triple tonic Ari. We don't always see this. Going for the Inspiration Runes secondary instead of Mana Flow and Scorch. Having that triple tonic means you have that extra power for the level 6. Going back towards this play, Jeje had already missed his wall stun. Doesn't get the second one here onto Monkey, which I think is actually a big issue. I think if he'd managed to get that wall stun, the damage would have been so much more quicker to come through. And then the problem is you're playing against lethal tempo Azir, and of course the Varus gets the reset as well onto his passive, and they aren't being hit. So in the longer fights, they'll always bring more DPS, and IG never find a way onto them or quickly get out.
Rookie lands a charm onto Vampire, but Vampire survives, and then things do get a little interesting at that point. The gold lead's actually back towards IG's favour because of that top side play, but I think the issue is going to be this where the gold has gone. Yes, your Poppy is strong, but on the other side, Taeyun up 10 CS, 2-0-2. It's on one of his most comfortable champions in the Varus, which he has put a lot of successful time into. That has to feel pretty good for WE for all that they are behind a nominal 200-300 gold.
Surprised that IG didn't take the Varus in the first round. They had the option for the Varus Rumble, which by my eyes is one of the strongest combos in the game. Instead, they choose the Rumble Poppy, and then they picked up the Jhin later, thinking, oh, well, we can trade the Varus and the Jhin. But yeah, in this game, in the early game, the Varus punishing them somewhat. Bot lane's now into mid lane. The Shy has a bit of an advantage, as you were talking about before. Lane up against Karis now.
Shy, eat some soldiers. Aha. Don't really lead to all that much. Does look like it'll be the Nash's 2 first on this particular Azir build. Vampire and crew are sat in this bush, but there is a ward, I think, spotting them all end up in here, so they have to have an idea. But the Gala walks towards it, gets hit by the Chains of Corruption. There's the cleanse, forced as a result.
Was he looking for a fight there? I'm surprised the Gala would walk up and blow his cleanse. I know the Grubs is up there, but still, you know they're in that brush. Why would you give up that summoner so easily? I guess he does buy the Varus ultimate. That's actually a win in and of itself.
And of course, you don't have the level 6 on Mako or anything yet to try and body block it. Call the Forge God, though, summoned. Mako burns the heal to try and get out for safety. The Keeper's Verdict keeps some away, but there's still the Impale down onto JJ. It's not the easiest target. Flashed away from Monkey. Into the backline they go. Not the best ultimate from the Shy ever, but does split off WE from really following up. Curtains being called. Monkey now in danger. Cube begins to body block. Monkey needs to drive away and can't. Sniped mid-flight. And now the damage begins to roar through from Invictus Gaming.
And IG managed to get another couple of kills onto Rookie as well. Important to note now that Rookie now has, I believe, 3... Oh, no, still only the 2, actually. I was wondering if you got an extra kill in there. I was going to talk about Ultimate Hunter stacks, because if you start getting ahead this early, you start to get really good playmaking potential. Early game saved from IG. This was looking very bad for them. You take the first grub. Monkey, of course, being dead didn't help the fact that they could go towards that plate. Is it going to be 2 over? Jeja doesn't have the smite right now. Does get the second one. We'll have to flash out potentially.
Vampire has Spellbook, but I don't know if he managed to pick up smite while he was doing that. Appears to be just on cooldown. Vampire going to step on over, and JJ does get a hold of it and flash out. Well done for him.
Yeah, Braum walks up to you, but Braum on his own is not that scary. So 3 grubs to IG, 3 kills towards JJ as well, despite the misplays as we were talking about in that early red side jungle. Does manage to get some great kill participation afterwards. Rookie out into a side lane. 4 Dark Seal stacks early. He's very happy on the Ahri. And now WE, they're the ones which are going to have to sit, wait, and scale.
Very much so. And I think that last play will be a bit of a frustrating one. Thought they'd found the pick, and then the Keeper's Verdict leaves Monkey all very alone in that play. It all gets a bit more awkward from that. You've gotten solid starts to your solo lanes. This Poppy is right back in the game. Up 30, I don't know, 30, 20 odd CS, still a significant amount in the grand scheme of things, even if it is only on a Poppy who perhaps isn't the best scaler of all time.
Mako still not towards that level 6. Neither is Vampire. Both of them dropping a lot of XP in this early game.
They really
coming
have,
through.
Roams.
Roams. All roams lead to. No, that doesn't. Yeah.
Lead to the rift.
Yeah, all roams lead to the rift.
Or leads to mid.
What? I mean, in my case, it does. Monkey misses the red buff. Reasons beyond me. Gala makeup, clearing through mid lane. Because it's not the poke Varus, it's not as much mid-wave control, but because you have no 6 on Mako, I don't think you really want to play defensive, play as far up in mid lane right now. They will need to claim some vision around mid lane soon, though, because giving a control ward on one side, a vision ward on the other, gives Tay and Vampire a lot of room to push and roam, especially when stuff like Dragon is up. You don't want to allow that too easily.
Arrow comes on through. Too much there, just fighting for the mid lane control. Dragon has spawned. No one's taken the early one, so it really is the first dragon of the game. It's been spawned for a little while, is basically what I'm saying. Now, a fully fledged dragon. Now, got itself settled into its little apartment here. About to have some home wreckers come in and potentially mess it up. JJ get driven into a wall. The Impale comes on down into the Braum, trying to run away as JJ, but to where? Where on earth do you run? He is just dead. Another kill over to Taeyeon, and they can turn for the dragon after.
This is a direct consequence of giving up mid control. They should have fought for mid lane vision a little heavier. It's another quick kill, as you're saying, and JJ didn't respect that. Gala and Mako will walk over that. Whoa. Teleporting now. They're looking for a fight, even though their jungler's dead.
Monkey should be able to just pick this up and then drive out. They're going to try and find a bit of an angle here. The Equalizer on top of the Pulverize combo. Taeyeon and Karasine to back away from the Shy. Has got flash and a load of waiting targets. We'll get one. Not shuffled far enough away. The curtain call. And Invictus Gaming in the 4v5 still bounce.
The solo lane has come to the rescue again. While the early game of the jungle and the bot lane from IG has been a bit of a coin flip, some good, some bad, Rookie and the Shy have been righting the ship, and WE have not respected the early game solo lane's power across the rift.
GJ will get a charge on Cube in the top side. Does actually get a fair amount of damage here with the Sundered Sky. And Cube has like no mana. GJ could just run at this, I think.
He's got the ult to pop him up as well. Yeah, he should be able to get the kill here. The hammer shot gets the first bit of it, and the last auto for the kill.
Gets off the respawn fountain. Goes right top, catches Cube, who's getting the wave shove, doesn't have mana, and he can't keep running.
WE, the early game has so often been, you know, their strongest weapon in their arsenal. But right here, they've been fumbling a couple of their own plays here. Kara's walking over the Scuttle Shrine, not respecting the fact that, yes, they got that first kill, but they don't have the power to take down the 2 early game solo lanes. The Equalizer, the CC combo is fantastic, and just like I was saying in draft, the Braum doesn't save you from the Equalizer. This is my issue with the Braum and the Ornn. Yes, they're a very good tank front line, doesn't stop the Equalizer hitting your back line all the same, and that's the big difference maker here.
It was a really, really nice play there. Shy with a wonderful angle around. And one of the things we said coming into this match was like, look, WE, your early game is good. It should, in fact, even be able to take down IG, who are known for being a bit sloppy. But the other thing IG are known for is not hearing no bell. Being willing to go for every skirmish ever. Yeah. They will fist fight you. They will happily join you in the mud. And they're quite good in that mess.
Yeah, Cube just got solo killed. Has no flash.
Yeah.
He might use his ult to wave clear through the next wave here. Rookie trying to use the 3 grubs to push through as much of bot side as possible. Equalizer on top side to stop a cross mat coming through. The Shy getting some damage onto Karis at the same time. And the 3 grubs will secure them the first turret of the game.
Quietly, somehow, some way, Gala's also now with a gold lead because he's picked up so many of these kills, and the early advantage this Varus had has disappeared.
Why?
Just gets to walk away from an Emperor's Divide that was too shy.
But dodges out on the glacial on the glacial fissure. Dodges out on the Emperor's Divide. My dude, just stepping all over them.
Did Karis just like miss, or was the Shy just better? I don't know yet. Impale comes down. They don't want to give this up. He likely will die, but gets a lot of damage back. There's a lot of people coming in, and Rookie's going to have to ult early. Will get the one back, makes it the 1-for-1. Now, GJ will heroic charge forward, think about maybe finding something else, but can't quite do it.
But, like, turning that into a 1-for-1 on top side is still insane. The Shy was on the weak side there. Maybe overstayed a little bit, but Rookie gets another kill, has a 10-stack Dark Seal, and IG, their solo laners have come out to play in game 1. Rookie and the Shy, the OGs. Rookie doesn't have flash now, though.
Misses the charm, and I think that means Monkey can walk at this. Doesn't have an Impale to really threaten, though. So should be able to just walk out of it. They don't have the damage.
It's fine. Monkey didn't have the ultimate. Gala then uses that to go mid lane. We are the ones that are now floundering. This is the team which just took down JDG and Top Esports in the lower bracket. But IG, they are a team which are so ready to scrap with you, as you're saying. And I think in some ways, I favor IG versus W because I don't think IG care about underdog status. I think I think that JDG and Top Esports maybe did a little too much. Right here, though, IG just putting the sword into the body of WE.
IG are often team strength agnostic. They can beat and lose to anyone they damn well please to, and they still look to make plays like this. They are so good when they get to be aggressive, when they get to use their bloodthirsty tendencies to keep snowballing away like this.
Yeah, IG getting some huge victories in this early game, 4,000 gold ahead, and IG, I know there's a little bit of aura around this right now. They're doing it on red side, which is important potentially
very true, yes.
For the series. It doesn't always mean everything, but we've had some conversations about we don't really know why, but LPL teams can't win on red side. Blue side has had a huge win rate besides a couple of key games here and there. BLG versus IG in the first round actually was the series where red side won because BLG 3-0'd IG from red side. But on the whole, blue side has been very, very dominant. And for me, I can't pin down exactly why.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
One of the things what it is, and I'm going to call it out. A lot of our teams suck at drafting in terms of counter picks. They can do the obvious things. They can set up a team comp fine on blue side, but blue side drafting is a lot simpler. You go, well, I pick this champion first. I'll get 2 champions that match it in 2-3. And on red side, you've got to be more creative. You've got to have better counter picks. Monkey's about to get ganked, and I think I might have to hold on this as Mako heads on forward. Red buff being fought over was secured, I believe, by Monkey, who did get the smite down, so does flash out to stay safe. Dragon spawning as well, and I'll finish my rant because I think it's an important one.
Yeah, the drafting on red side.
Because people like Shanji, for example, were supposed to be your red side Luke Skywalker pick specialist. Red 5 is standing by. You need your X-Wing ready to blow up the blue side Death Star. You know what? You get a Singe that they don't know how to play, and it looks horrible. How many teams have we seen like that? It's been very frustrating. Our ability to use counter picks to really wield what should be later draft advantages has not been that fantastic in the LPL, and I think it does need to change if we want to be better internationally.
No, of course, Rookie, played with Shanji last year. and got some good value out of him as a top laner there. But I think you're absolutely right. I think the current form of counter picks has not been that good. We've had creative players,
Yes.
players like Flandre with the tank Jace, bringing out the Vladimir. Well, it's not like we don't have chefs, but it's just knowing how to do it in a strategic sense. They're
not
really
Michelin
difficult.
starred right now.
No, and you compare it to say, look, Movistar Koi just won an LEC title, and they did that through embracing Fearless and just being in the kitchen all day and all night.
And Mirwin, for example, has actually been exceptionally successful with his counter picks. I still really love the Tank Vex top he came out with. It was genius.
Value to that. So, significant goal lead for IG, zooming back on towards this game. No Dragon up right now. There's, of course, Dragon apiece between the two teams. 5 kills on Gala's Jhin, who has been one of his more successful champions. But for me, I'm looking at Rookie and the Shy. They have done so much work in this early game. The Shy with fancy feet, Rookie so fed. Monkey has no flash.
Gala's actually in a really big spot of danger. That is a really nice pick, and Gala flashes a bit futilely again. They're going to try and turn this around. Another great headbutt pulverized combo, but it's not really on top of the equalizer fully this time. Flash on in from Karis. Headbutt away as Moko tries to buy space. Still has the Unbreakable Will to work with. Flash over the wall, but he's still knocked up. The Shy tries to turn it around with the Flame Spitter, but can't get out to safety. 2 dead there.
Gala does not know how to flash the Skarner W.
No!
He's flashed into it for the first blood, and right here, doesn't flash it at all, despite the fact that Monkey had no flash to put down onto him either. Gala getting a little bit spooked by Monkey, and that is an important couple of kills for WE. It takes some of the wind out of the sails of IG, gets a shutdown or two as well, I suppose. Gala would have been a big one for that, but, you look right here. What happens with the vision? Does he get killed? He did have reaction time there, but he was walking too close to the wall. So that one's actually walking too close to the wall. Then flashes into the Ornot, so he's flashed into his death twice now. Although I think he would have been dead either way, regardless.
I think it might have been better just holding on to that, to be honest. But there we are. Either way, he burns his Summoners, doesn't get out, and then they try to turn this one around. It doesn't quite work.
So this one wasn't the headbutt pulverize. It was the pop-up from the Poppy ult. I actually just saw that there.
That's what it was.
I was like, oh, that's a big knock-up. I'm like, oh.
I thought that was the Alisix. I saw Mako there, but no, clearly I misread it in the moment.
Jeja flashed for the pop-up from the ultimate. I was like, yeah, that's a really good Alisix. Wait, no, that's Poppy ultimate.
Right. There you go. Turns out the knockups when you've got an Alistair in the game and you hear flashes going off, you go, it's the Alistair. It's been ingrained into me over 15 odd years of League.
2 minutes until Dragon now. WE are getting towards now full 2 items across the board. That's where that composition comes online a lot more. I will say though, I mean, given the way that the Shy has been playing, the amount of gold which he got through the early game, the equalizer is going to be very, very nasty for WE to have to disengage from. Rookie on bot side, dealing with Karis a little bit. The Shy doesn't have teleport, will have to recall, come back in the good old-fashioned way.
And he will. There's a Herald that's been dropped in a very odd spot there for a big scheme. He just dies. But either way, the turrets are largely down, and IG have claimed themselves a significant early gold lead. It's in some good spots. Ironically, of course, after that last fight, Karis now back to evenish with the Ahri, which is a bit frustrating because the Ahri had been snowballing very well. But still a lead for Invictus Gaming. Now looking to potentially punish Rookie, who's got flash, got ult. They've done a decent job of collapsing here. They don't have teleports to work this one out as Rookie. Think will not have very many ways to find his way out. Has got so many people coming. Flash, ult, Charm has done a really good job on the escape as Vampire eats all of the damage. The Call of the Forge God goes straight into the spam folder. Equalizer comes on down, tags Vampire, who's burning. Glacial Fisher comes on down. They've caught out the Ord, who needs to be very wary as Mako going on forwards with the Unbreakable Will. Jhin hops forward, gets some autos, and the Rumble sticks them all on max heat in the oven.
There is a reason I call Rookie a top 5 Ahri player in the world. It's plays like that where he plays so well around the extra mobility, playing for that charm there onto Vampire at the end of it, not just making a defensive move to get out, but turning that defense into offense, pulling someone out of position. They'll get the Atakan off of the slick play from Rookie.
Gone towards the Dream Sled as well, slightly less tanky than things like the Celestial Opposition. It turns out you don't activate the Locket or have the Unbreakable Will, you do get slapped.
No, Rookie plays this so well. Pushing up that bot side, very happy with his item breakpoint right now. Misses the first charm, realizes everyone's coming out the way, but there isn't that much, engaged left. There's no flash wall stun, brings Monkey out of position. Cube and Vampire stack up a little too far. Flashes first to make sure the Emperor's Divide doesn't catch him, and then goes to the defensive play afterwards once he's regrouped with the team. Really well played by Rookie. Gets a huge amount of value from the escape.
Monkey actually doing a really good job there to headbutt. Sorry, Mako headbutting Monkey away means there's no impale turnaround as they step on forwards. They're going to keep his verdict to knock Bjorn away, so the front line is out. It's just really well played. I need to see Rookie turn that seal into some Medjais, but he's clearly feeling a little bit too reserved this game.
See, that's why he's not like top 2 Ari in the world, you see.
I see,
That one was reserved for Knight and for Chigovi. Dragon will go down, second over towards Team WE. It's an objective for them, stops a potential soul coming in earlier for IG.
IG now must contend with all of WE in their red side jungle. They want to keep them away from this mid lane turret as they've shoved that in, are looking to get the tier 2, fighting over that red buff. I think that was secured by GG. They're looking at the circles around people's feet. And we'll head towards this turret. Should, I think, be able to get at least the majority of it. Can't quite get the whole thing unless they really want to overextend for it. They're sticking around, though. The Shy and Rookie on a flank end.
They are, and that equalizer is so nasty. The Bloodletter's Curse, shredding magic resist, of course, for Rookie to do more damage to you. The AP Black Cleaver. Definitely helping, especially when we've got such a fed solo lane. See some people in chat saying, oh, but Shovy's not a top 2 Ari. Yes, he is. Trust the person. Look, there are very few people more qualified than me to talk about Ari. Shovy's a top, like, the top 5 Ari players I have in the world right now. This is not always in the right order. I think Knight is the best, and then I think you have Chovy, Faker, Rookie in an order that you choose, and it depends on the form of the day. Then the 5th one kind of switches between a couple of players. I think Caps had some very good games on it. Actually, I think Jojo was fantastic the last time I played him through it. There's a couple of LCK mid laners like Zeka or Showmaker that occasionally go into that list as well. But these players, what they bring to a game, and what we see in a game like this is, you know, a level of carry threat and self-sustainability, self-reliance that other players just don't. And they also accelerate the game to a point where, much like Rookie did here, sees that one opening and just puts the dagger in very early into the game, which is exactly what he did. Rookie and the Shy saved this game from being an absolute wash from the early game.
There was a world where they were going to get snowballed off by the team that largely scales better, has the better front to back, has got the Azir, the Varus on-hit option as well, with the Ornn and Skarner and Braum in front of them. There was a world where you got really heavily snowballed on. And Rookie and the Shy said no. It was really good work. Of course, people like Mako, people like JJ, obviously a part of that. Gala's picked up a lot of kills as well, even if he's had a few very high-profile fail flashes. He's still 6 kills deep, and it's very scary on this Jhin right now with his Infinity Edge completed as a 3rd item. The whole of Invictus Gaming now in a pretty scary spot. The only thing they don't really have, though, is dragons to work with, which can be a pretty big deal. Throw down the equalizer. Get some ults across. Gala now knocked up. He's in danger. Needs to back away a little bit. Should be fine.
Poppy ult will help disengage a little bit, but losing the Shy. It's a good pick off there from WE. Again, each of these picks extends the timer on the game. They are getting towards the items. Charm lands, W lands, JJ Wallstone.
Does it that, and they managed to get the knock-up after, but again, they're playing 45 because the Shy's got pretty deep in the boat we were praising. If actually JJ is now in danger, hang on, WE might have a really good moment. Monkey with the flash impale. Gets another couple. Maker will throw the ult to keep himself in one piece briefly, but that's it.
Rookie not able to make the difference there. The Shy getting caught off, and suddenly Baron started.
And look to get on top of this. Try and get some value down on this one. And Scarlet steps on forwards. Trying to throw out a few autos here. Rookie gets the charm. And some exhaust value onto Rookie, but the Baron's now gone. Flash away from Gala, but to what end? Chai can't join. Decent charm again, trying to get some more value. Needs to get the blast cone, perhaps uses instead the auto onto Monkey, still ulting forwards. Monkey now in danger. Good weight from Rookie. And they actually do get a couple up. I thought they were dead to rights.
Yeah, Rookie with some fantastic body blocks, and the damage from the Jhin and the Ahri means that what should have been a game-changing Baron take ends up losing 2 of them. They'll get pushed back on the map, and actually IG might be able to stop another recall in hit. Not quite, but they'll be able to turn around what could have been a game-changing Baron into an annoyance, but not one which puts the game into W's favor.
Gala now stepping on towards this bot side, who did survive. They're now at 8 kills deep. He's in a fantastic position. Can look to try and get some value here on this bot side. They've got some grubs to work with. They're actually tanking the turret shots to try and buy as much time here as possible. Karras is coming, though. I'm not sure they can stick around too much longer. The wave will finish what they started.
They had the 3 grubs, which is the big thing there, because they applied the DOT, and with 2 people doing it, ends up being a lot of damage stacked up over time. Karras, so the thing is, that looked fine up until Karras appeared on the Shy's screen as he'd pressed the teleport button.
Boy, yeah.
That's, Yeah, that's how you die in League of Legends, I suppose. The counter engage was a hell of a punch. I suppose they did use a lot of ultimates to do so. And then after this, it's Gala and Rookie trying to pick up some extra damage. You are at a point in the game, though, where the front line from WE does take a little while to die.
Flash from Monkey there did get Gala. And it doesn't because of the headbutt. It still gets 2, but the headbutt actually pushed the Impale away. I wondered how Monkey got there. I thought he'd flashed into that position. He sort of had. But really good work. I'm not sure whether it's from GG or Mako to knock it away from Gala and kept him alive. Because otherwise they would have lost
missed
as
Impale.
well.
Missed Impale
here as well.
Yeah. Monkey just missed that Impale, means that one of those engage tools is going to be down for this Dragon. WE trying to play around front to back. Not that far behind. Here comes the Charm Equalizer.
Oh, massive damage. Vampire is going to burn out for a second, and the Leandries will do what the rest of it started. They do turn it around on a Rookie, though, who got picked off by Gala, who's looking for plays in the back line. 1-for-1, but importantly, mid laner down versus only a support.
Yeah, Rookie, it's his first death of the game, and Taeyun, I guess, out of position. Good Jhin ult to force them off the objective.
Rookie now finishes that Horizon focus, fighting over the control wards in a 4v4. See exactly how this plays up. Taeyun's got a little bit more lifesteal off the wave, so she'll come back with a bit more HP to work with. No TP on Rookies. I think this should just be WEs.
I think it should be. You know, killing Ari at that point is a lot of the damage gone from IG. He saved so many of the plays, but can't quite do so. There, IG, going to have to see another Dragon go over, and this is a problem. W are scaling well. It's teleporting back into the play as well.
This a 5v4. The Shy with no equalizer. I think they just have to back away on this one.
They will. The tank front line getting a little too tanky now. And Gala, by stopping off with the rapid fire cannon, doesn't have tank killing potential right now. Has a last wisp, but not the full Lord Dominate's regards to be that tank killer. Rookie is the tank killer, actually, alongside the Shy. The initial play comes through. It's great damage onto the Braum, but the Varus hits the ult onto Ari, who gets absolutely blasted. That is an absurd amount of damage. That just fully 100 to 0. That's the kind of thing you want a Zhonya's for. Didn't have it there. Great ult from Taeyun, and the orbital laser comes through.
I genuinely didn't see Rookie die because I was looking at other parts to fight. You blink and he's gone. That's kind of wild.
That means that actually, again, the whatchamacallit, the gold lead gets less and less. No, IG were 4,000, 5,000 gold ahead a little earlier. The Baron buff got them some gold back. They're now up towards 3 items. They have Ornn items coming through. Feats of Strength on the other side to help give them some extra stats for IG, but Soul Point for WE. IG, good early game bailed out by by Rookie and the Shy, but they're now at a point where they have to dip into that late game magic, which they've occasionally had to showcase before, because W have the better tools at this point in the game.
TP now coming on through. Got ourselves 2 minutes until Baron. Wasn't a TP, I don't know what I saw there. I think it was a ward. I just said random words in an order. It wasn't correct. Anyway, Karis in the enemy jungle. The Shy is waiting here. Actually, could be really scary to walk into that rumble, but won't turn into all that much as WE are now quite happily ensconced in IG's red side jungle.
If IG can get towards the side lane and use the 3 grubs, they can really open this up. Jhin W lands, has the Lord Dominate's regards now. A bit more tank, a lot more tank killing.
Suddenly this Jhin actually does threaten the tanks. He's always been the best tank killer, but at this point, does have enough burst to cut through a bit more.
Yeah, when you get towards like 4 items with this, with a 100% crit chance to give you the mobility as well, yeah, it definitely hurts. Rookie trying to play around the Fog of War, has the level 16 for the ult cooldown, forcing W to take the long the long road home through mid lane.
Not necessarily then. Defend this mid lane wave, actually. We'll have to do it underneath the inhibitor turret, but from setting up in Invictus Gaming's red side jungle all the way back through their blue side to their base gate.
IG forced them back. Baron up in a minute. No objectives up on the board to take right now.
Quick note as well here that's really important. The ornaments are coming on through. Not really chat about that too much as yet, and they're going to get some really big ones.
The Shy going towards his Seekers as well, important there. Give him a stasis for the next fight. That's the kind of thing which can allow him to dive a little bit deeper. Go golden with the Flame Spitter.
Yeah, none of that on Ari, though, who, as we saw in that last fight, did get blown up, gone towards the Blighting Jewel, so still has a lot of burst here, but, you know, could still be at risk.
Yeah. The actual gold value of what W have from the ornaments, though, as you're saying, and the Dragon, does make it so the gold lead just doesn't matter nearly as much anymore. IG did get some vision on their way back out through that top side. Mako, level 11 with the ultimate, so has that extra damage reduction from that. 2 minutes until Dragon. Baron up now.
Jack show wits end on this Varus with the cleanse with everyone in front of him. I don't know how easy it's going to be to actually take down Taeyun in good order. If he gets to get through some of those autos, get that passive rolling, he's going to be a tanky boy.
Giant will find Monkey. Hang on, Monkey, you've gone too far deep. He might have gone very deep here, actually. Wallstone comes through as well. There is a lot of tank killing on IG at this point in the game with the Rumble and the Jhin. So we did say 3 grubs, though, for IG, very important. Ari's going to take an inhibitor turret. It has teleport. Yeah. If Ari manages to get that turret, I wonder if they get Void Staff off of this now, too. They've got quite a cheap build with the Horizon Focus. And the Varus ult missing. Big tool gone.
Doesn't earn the Alistar ult either, which might have been a worthy trade. Might get Mako actually quite astute with the headbutt to get out to safety.
Yeah, using the minion taxi. So Rookie, does he get to recall and get himself the full voice stuff? No, just the blasting one, but comes back. Forces Cube in towards bot side, teleporting towards mid. Can they take a fight before Cube gets here with the teleport?
Unfortunately, they've got triangle instead. Pyramid to make it a 3D object. What can I say? Well, what are you going to do then?
Well, I'll try and play some 4-dimensional chess, I guess, because Monkey's behind them. He was trying to go for this flank angle before. Gala not been great at escaping that Skarner in the game so far. Has flashed this time.
Not again.
Please
not
don't
again.
walk too close
Not
to that
again.
wall.
Oh, my days with so much vision problems. It's just I don't enjoy this. That's a lie. I actually very much do.
We're going towards smoke and mirrors. Baron started up. Dragon now in 30 seconds would be sold for WE. They start this up and they have very good DPS onto it with the on-hit Varus and the Azir.
Onto the Baron they go. Rookie. Another 17 is a real threat off this one side, but the Baron's about to go down. They're going to try and force the fight. Big Charm onto Karis. They've stolen the Baron as well. They've got everything they can ask for. Karis needs to run and the rest of the team is just melting away. Glorious Charm, glorious Steel, and Invictus Gaming. They're going to have Karis try and teleport, and he gets headbutt pulverized into the dirt.
You could make a whole documentary at this point about JJ's objective steals. WE forget the greatest tool which IG have in their arsenal, which is that JJ does not miss smites. Cube goes down, reduced to a square.
They have quite literally stopped both attempted TP escapes on both solo laners at the same time. They ace steal the Baron and blow the TPs. That is insult to the grievous injury.
That'll be the game. The Baron being taken, so many deaths. This might not be the game on this fight, but they'll take the Dragon, take so much gold, and that's going to power them through to such strong items at the end of the game. I don't think WE will be able to find as good a situation as that. They were scaling into the game. They had priority over the objectives. They just bought into a Baron that they couldn't afford to take versus that Equalizer. Every single Equalizer this game has been impactful. You compare the Shy's Rumble to, say, Bin, who had a troubling game on the other day. It is night and day difference. The CC chain is insane. The solo lane is great value. Somehow threading a charm onto the backline. That is pinpoint stuff. The steal comes through as well, as there was an early smite. I guess maybe that was from the spellbook of Vampire, but JJ ends up getting away with it. This is just disaster for WE.
I really want to call this out as well. Mako starts the pulverize animation as JJ heroic charges someone into the pulverize to get the double knockup on the Equalizer, and then JJ, having done that, uses the heroic charge gap close to get the smite on the Baron as well. It is a ridiculous combo from IG.
So that's now put them 9,000 gold ahead, almost a 6,000 Baron power play, and yeah, IG, they once again have their solo laners really to thank for that. The key charm, the key ultimate from the Shy. Both of them, I think, will be sparring off for player of the game. Again, Rookie, one of my very favorite Ahri players across the world. And the Shy, we know what he can be at peak. He's been actually, weirdly, one of the most consistent members for IG after having a career of being inconsistent. It's been a pleasure to watch this guy find more peaks here on IG.
Inhibitor in mid lane already down. They've got a Sun Disc as a fake turret to try and buy a little bit of space in the spot. So Karis at level 17 should be at a real point of power here, but just can't stand and clear the wave in the face of all these IG members, and the waves crashing in power by the Baron. Final inhibitor to take. Looks like they do want to do the tutorial start.
Well, why not? Get yourself the 3 grubs, Baroned up waves, all heading towards the Nexus. WE, what have they got? A clutch shuffle. They don't have a flash for that. Hard to do it into a Poppy as well. A Cube has an ultimate, but it's hard to make a play in the base because this is the kind of terrain where IG can actually split apart. There is no funnel here for you to put everyone in front of the Varus and the Azir.
It's all so very on vision. Another glorious charm. The core of the Forge God so many response, but it's only on Mako, who cares not for the Sons of Gods as Karis, left golden on top of an equalizer, tries to escape. Another wonderful multi-man knocker. Braum dead to the flame spitter. The Shy goes golden. They have turned it around to Mako. Is that going to be enough? The Shy dies as well. Caillou now speeding up. They actually do hold the line pretty well there, actually.
Yeah, even with 2-3 clutch charms from Rookie, the first forcing the Zhonya's, the second after that, forcing the ultimate too. They can't close the game off of this, and it does mean that IG's Baron power play wears off. They will actually get themselves a bit of gold back as well from, I suppose, a shutdown, I think it was, from WE, but IG not able to close the game there.
They stood and delivered a lot better than I thought they would on top of that equalizer. But Lockets and Jack shows are coming on through, and people are getting a bit tanky. Let's have a look again, because I thought it was pretty nice.
No, initially, this is after the first charm landed from Rookie. Gets a second one, which gets the Zhonya's out this time. Rookie, very good at value here, but then you are diving double Nexus turrets after this point. The Emperor's Divide is very valuable. JJ's locked out of the fight, and you are going into double turrets here.
And JJ was about 0.2 of a second early on the knockup, so Karis didn't get hit by it. He got the slide out and reposition, put the soldiers down. Otherwise, Karis is stuck on the equalizer. Knocked up, CC'd, likely dies, and then actually, you're just playing into a Varus, not the Varus and the Azir. Now this Varus has just picked up a GA as well. It is getting to pretty late stages here, and for all we've just been praising IG, they do still need to close into what is a very good scaling team, and plays like that do make you just pause for a second.
Yeah. You do have 3 inhibs down. There is, so that means it's double super minions. You do have triple grubs, which means that IG, if they get any access to towers, game is over. W need to be very, very disciplined. And IG are the ones which have had the most experience of playing this kind of late game, this split. They did it versus JDG in their first round matchup versus them. By the way, if you didn't watch that first matchup between IG and JDG in the regular season, go back and watch it. Absolute, I don't know, miracles happened in those games. We had double Baron steals, Nexus to Nexuses. Very rarely do you see games as entertaining as that. And of course IG, they've now experienced in that. You notice how they're actually IG, they're giving some gold over towards Monkey because it's not like their AD carry needs it anymore. Karis farming up where he can. IG going back out onto the map. But of course, their gold lead is going to become more decorative as time comes on because they're starting to cap out on items.
Very much so. Rookie with the Verdant Barrier on top. Here comes the Dragon Spawn. The inhibitors all being down, making it very difficult for WE to actually get out of their base and contest, especially when you have got TPs, when you've got this very slippery Ahri shoving in a side lane. Hard to bring down and ensure they come to justice. Dragon secured, soul point for both squads. We've got a max Dragon game currently as 40 minutes has just crested.
So you've got some extra tenacity, some extra heal shield power for each team, which of course quite valuable from the Chemtech Dragon. And of course the Baron will now get started. The Shy, good value onto this. And of course the Leandri is helping from the Ahri too. WE are getting pushed outside of their base. IG might just say, let's take the teleports and then get back into this. Do they want to just finish this? Maybe they do. Good equalizers to buy time.
Most wanted is Jie, the King of Thieves. Monkey won't be able to try and steal that title away from him. The Baron is secured. Too short order. The equalizer buys too much time. The vision wasn't there. Resets come on through. And then IG, please finish on this shove, or again, we start to get more worried.
IG, again, liking to give us our money's worth, all things said and done.
Do a fair amount of work. As over we go. Towards what could be our final moments in this game. Potentially. Potentially. IG doesn't respect my time with this 40-minute nonsense, says Wisdom. Dom, you may have a point, but this is IG. Okay, or no. For a little bit of nonsense. It's why we all love them and hate them. Simultaneously. We had 3 Barons before the Elder Spawn. Yeah, that sounds about right. Quite been able to get the leverage required. It doesn't even feel like IG have been necessarily that poor at snowballing. Just not been able to end the game. Rookie, with the Elixir of Sorcery running, should be able to claim this inhibitor on its reset in about 2 seconds. Sundisk in mid. 10 seconds on the top inhibitor. Shy trying to step on forward. He's got his own Elixir running. GA on guard. Jin at this point, a bit of a kingmaker in his own right. Everyone is trying to struggle to some of the shorter range moments. Rookie, Charm, only onto Cube. The Kale's used. Rookie, that's the ult down, but again, not the longest cooldown at this point. Continue to find Charms again on Second inhibitor comes down. Again, it's not the pick that ends the game. IG, their pick at this point, less consistent than it is earlier in the game. First, doing half of people's HP bars. Call of the Forge Guard use IG, a little bit split off. They landed onto Gala, throws out the Deadly Flourish. But again, that one doesn't lead to all that much. WE, their ability to proactively look for picks, a little limited. Last inhibitor, under siege. IG playing this one slow and steady. Inhibitor going on down. Gala hurts. Vampire left on a 3rd HP. Needs to run away a little. Wave in mid lane, cleared out. Final inhibitor goes down. Just gaming. We are going to see a potentially final shove. Cube forced to flash from another charm. Never-ending IG just continuing to hound, to push the charm. Well, buffered through. There's the double pulverized. Karis, though, doesn't really get threatened. Throws out a fair amount of damage backwards, but Mako doesn't overplay this. Doesn't overuse the ult. Vampire stepping on forward. Lands the Winter Spite onto Gala. But the turnaround, the multi-man pulverized. Keeper's verdict onto Jeju. Now gets pulled behind. They've blown up Mako. Vampire also low. Karis is gone. Important pick. Golden Ghost of Shy in the backline. Flame Spinner on in the barbecue. Looks like victory meal for the side of IG, and it tastes so damn good. Medium rare is the side of WE. Taeyun must stand and deliver with Cube in the face of 4 members of Invictus Gaming. Flash for the arrow, can't find it. Taeyun needed to find more, can't do it. There's still a teleport on the Shy to come back. Gala takes the first in Nexus turret. Taeyun in danger. Tries to stay alive as the call of Archgard comes on through. Dynamite to space and time the charm onto Cube, but Taeyun dies. Cube is again flattened into a square, and Invictus Gaming in 44 minutes will finally secure Game 1. Who said anything about a red side curse? WE. The opening levels, the opening minutes were good from them. Their Varus ended up 2-0-2, and then there was that topside dive. And the turnaround began to come on through from the solo lanes, and then just didn't quite get closed out for a while. Some dragons picked up. Welcome back, folks. How are we all doing? Hey, Ruby, good to see you. You might be in luck. Your boys are doing all right. Hey, thank you for the community sub. Unity, I love you all very much for that one. Hey, Ruby. Hey, Holokay. Lorindy, as a TES fan who also hates his own org, I also hate IG. I mean, there's something to this team that just inspires despair. You know what I mean? It happens. I do love a red side win. Oh, I'd love to see the stats after this one. I'm curious what the damage numbers are. I'm here for this story, okay? Hell yes. Take this to mean red side will win today. Yeah, that's it, Mecha. That's it. You get the idea. Minor spelling mistake. Sorry, mate. It's over. Regardless of results, W did more and above this bit. Agreed, Alexandru. Agreed massively. They were a lot better than I think many of us gave them credit for. I think the problem, Gab, is that you actually didn't have that many tools to be proactive. You needed IG to overplay into you. And it was quite tricky once all the inhibitors are down. You're playing in a very wide open space where your engage is Ornn and Skarner. That's fine in a funnel. That's fine around an objective. It's not great in your own base. You don't have that instant pick CC. It's quite easy to just scatter and not really get threatened by it that late in the game. So I don't really think that's on Karis and Taeyun. I actually think both of them played largely pretty well. I think that just became a bit of a draft issue. I think they threw away their early leads a little bit. And then getting things like the Baron stolen away from them, I think was a bit of a nail in the coffin. They had their moments, but I don't think there was that much that Taeyun and Karis could have done realistically more. Maybe you could have gone for a really aggressive shuffle on Karis, but I think that just brings people into you. You don't really kill them at that point in the game, and it puts you out of position. So even if you don't find the big shuffle, I'm not actually sure that gets you a win. Maybe a Chains of Corruption pick, but again, if you're stepping up to that, you're running into this issue where you're threatened by Alistair, threatened by Poppy, the Ari Charm, Jin's miles away, who'd be your best target, probably. He's got Cleanse and GA. It's not easy at that point. So I don't think there's realistically that much more that could be done. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's my take. So you can see some moments on this graph where such things as picks happened that led to Barons, where IG maybe, just maybe, should have been able to close the game out on cleanest nobles. I like the casted team jerseys. It's fun. Yeah. You have to get permission for that, actually, to ensure that no bias done. It needs to be a good time. Oh, guys, I'm going to get myself a coffee. I'll run some ads, and I will return shortly. Best LPL coach stream. Oh, thank you, Az. Appreciate you. Thanks for looking after us. In fact, I tell you what, before... yeah, I'm gonna flick it over again, because I realize I've not done the spiel yet. Let me do the spiel. Hello, folks. I'm Initialise. Nymaera has got a meeting briefly, so he's not here, but we'll be returning shortly. But we co-stream the LPL pretty much every day here on twitch.tv/Nymaera_ on YouTube for Nymaera, and obviously over on Onivia's YouTube as well. So we're live on 3 different channels, full collaboration with Onivia to get even more eyes on this stream and on us. Please do, if you can though, make sure you are following us on our socials. We're InitializeCast at Nymaera. Come and give us some love here as well. We do need to try and get as much out of this as we can, because this is effectively our jobs, guys. So all the love and support you can give us in terms of social numbers, in terms of following the stream, in terms of things like the gift subs that are coming on through. Again, thank you so much for coming and doing that as well. It really, really makes a huge difference. If you can subscribe on Twitch, it does support us directly. At the very least, if you can, to make sure hitting that follow, hitting that like button does make a huge difference to us. Share it with your friends. If you see any cool clips, do actually clip. It does actually make a massive difference in terms of our discoverability. We need to throw some more clips out on social and stuff as well. Join us in the Discord. Do come and be a bit more of a part of that. Be a great team. And do try and get engaged and involved. And if you love the LPL, please throw some of that love over at us. Sam, what did I just post on Twitter? What did I post on? Oh, is this to Chronicler? I mean, look, okay, so what happened on Twitter is Chronicler spilled his hot chocolate everywhere. So it's just powder all over his kitchen. I just said, pour some milk on it and lick it up. Seems like the most expedient way to get your hot chocolate experience. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. What can I say? Anyway, with that incredible thought, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to run to the bathroom, get myself another coffee, and get ready for the next game. Enjoy the ads, guys. There is, I think, there is our casters in jerseys. Separated. Rightly so. And we'll return. Modern problems require modern solutions.
久不见。
关闭车窗，空调调到22度。
好的，都搞定了。你好，很高兴我们重新认识。
618-3C 数码电竞惊喜日，就上京东，又好又便宜。买手机上京东，享国补加倍补低至5折购新机；买电脑上京东，新品上市享国补立省20%；买数码上京东，爆款至高24期免息。电竞键鼠3重补贴，至高优惠50%。打开京东。
I am really annoyed that I missed the end of that game. Basically, folks, if that game hadn't gone as crazy as it did, yeah, I would have been around. But I had to meet up with I had to do an accountant meeting for taxes and stuff. Ain't that entertaining? We had a hype train. Holy crap, we had a hype train. Hey, well, thank you Vasi, Unity. Who else gave us stuff? Limbani, of course, earlier as well. Thanks everyone, I appreciate that. Going on hit versus Ari Rumble whilst having a Zero is also a mistake. Yeah, I agree, Dan. I agree. I think that's very astute of you. Right, I need to get myself another coffee. But what I can do is everyone's favorite activity in chat. Would you like to do some words? Who wants to do some words? I'm putting some words on the screen. Yeah, 1 second.
赢下了2比5，让我们队伍的士气有了一个很明显的上升吧。我们现在有自信去面对更强大的对手。下一场想赢下来的话，可能我们还需要减少失误，以及更加的摸清，在全局 VP 的情况下摸清现在的优先级。WE 现在是一支充满奇迹的队伍吧。如果遇上他们的话，我觉得我们得格外的小心吧。他们虽然年轻，但是非常的敢打。因为之前跟 Monkey 有待在一起的时间，所以对他的风格也好，以及英雄池都会比较了解吧。所以遇上他的话，我觉得就正常发挥就好。和去年相比，今年会有更加的有希望吧，以及今年会变得更加自信。和现在的这支 IG 一起的话，就希望能够战胜每一个对手吧。
Hello everyone, we were just talking in the background because turns out sometimes we do casting feedback in the middle of a series, which is
quite
that's the wrong
helpful.
thing. Yeah. So yeah, folks, just a little window into how we do things. So obviously you might know us from various streams. You might be new, you might be old, whatever. Sam and I are professional broadcasters, right? And yeah, so after that game, what did we talk about? So for instance, we talked about how. Well, I apologized for one thing in the early game. Remember when Gala flashed into the Skarner W? It was important that I mentioned that. I probably should have mentioned it in a better way, because what I ended up doing was like, Sam, you idiot, he flashed into it. Which probably didn't make him look the best.
Yeah.
However, later in the game, I was like, that wasn't. Sam was like, wow, great headbutt pulverizer. I'm like, oh wow, it was the poppy knockup. Now in the middle of it, I'm like, Sam, you idiot, it's a poppy knockup.
Yeah.
But so we just had a quick chat about that because turns out we cast an awful lot together. We live together. We're brothers of 30 years. God, we're brothers of 30 years. Jesus Christ. We do sometimes the way that we interact. Well, sometimes we are just assholes to each other, but we get away with more with each other than sometimes people realize, which is one thing.
Which is then when we need to actually have the conversation.
Yeah.
Go, actually, that probably wasn't on from someone.
However, it's important to also for myself, if I call out look, Gala literally flashed.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was the wrong call. It's the
Skarner.
answer. It's just how do you manage that in a way that doesn't make your other caster look truly awful.
Okay. I need to get myself a coffee real quick. Sorry, I had to dip out at the end of the last game, as I was saying, because I need to do taxes basically.
Yeah.
Get into that draft. I'll leave you.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It's all right. I got you guys. Hello, folks. I would not imagine having a brother for nearly 30 years. Wow, I know. Actually, to be fair, I'm quite lucky. Alex makes for a pretty solid brother on the whole. I do quite well. Going on hit versus Ari Rumble. I think honestly, I kind of was okay with it from Taeyun because it actually made him really hard to pick off in the mid game. He became a really big problem on that front. I agree the poke is kind of nice. I'm just not sure that game whether the poke alone would have been enough damage. And I think, anyway, there probably are some arguments there. I'd need to think through it a bit more, but I didn't hate the on-hit, and at least the way Taeyun played it, I thought he actually delivered on the on-hit playstyle quite well. We are in a draft now properly. Bans are beginning to come on through. We've gotten ourselves Vi, Gwen, and Kalista away from IG, all of which are very, very comfortable picks. The Kai'Sa away from Taeyun, one of his specialist options. Karis is Talia alongside that Nico. You just don't want to give up. And they'll take the Yorick, but respond that with the Ezreal and then the Trundle.
Because the thing is, IG have won a game now, which means the game, even if W were to take the next two games, there'd be another third one. By taking the Ezreal and the Trundle, I think you're attacking W at where they're weakest, which is like the apex champion pool. It's like, if we're on like these two champions, these three champions, we get the most out of it. Now, you might be giving over stuff like the Yorick and the Ryze, which W have also done well on, but Taeyun not having the Ezreal for the next game, Jed and Monkey not having the Trundle at all, I think that deprives W some very unique tools. They don't have many of these champions where you see a player on this champion and you go, that's like game over, in the way that some other top teams do.
Schmerzen's kind is obviously very true. We are in fact Cockney, we just hide it. And so when we're
stupid.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens obviously. That was the feedback. We let the Cockney out. Ooh,
right.
Monkey's Viego.
Well, so Monkey obviously plays a lot of the Trundle. Viego doesn't build that many resists, and is choosing to pick that into the Trundle because you're not a bad duelist as the Viego. I will say though, Sam's doing social media. I will say though, Viego into Trundle, if you ever get caught out by the pillar, you will have to ult pretty immediately, so you need to position quite well. The Shy potentially taking the Cho'Gath once again into the Arc. Now remember, you have the Trundle, so you don't have to worry about getting anti-tanked here. The Cho'Gath pretty good at surviving through most attacks on him. If you fall behind, it does get a bit hellish versus the Ryze and the Auric. Both of them can sideline into you quite effectively if you're very far behind. Second round of bans. W's going to lose lose the Lucian, which I'm surprised actually. I mean, I guess they could go towards Lucian plus something else rather than Nami, because I don't like Vampire's Nami that much. What else do you ban away at this point? Taeyun, no Kalista, no Kai'Sa. Well, he's not a big Kalista player anyway, but no Lucian, no Kai'Sa, no Ezreal, no Varus, no Jhin. That's a lot of his active champions. And Misfortune might be on their Corki he's played a little bit. Maybe take away the Corki.
I can see that.
Yeah, Corki would be the one that I would ban from IG. It's an early game champion which allows the others to get into the game. Not bad versus the Cho'Gath and the Trundle because you're mobile. Not dissimilar to something like an Ezreal, actually. They ban away the Nautilus. I mean, it's Vampire's best champion. Take that away. That does make some sense. choosing to attack the support champion pool rather than the AD carry. Rookie not going to get the Orianna. What else would you ban away? Could ban away Victor, I guess. It's not that much engaged for W right now. Ban away the Karma, I guess, for lane dominance on bot side. I think Rookie could quite happily go towards Victor right now. Not gonna lie. I feel like, you know, something ranged which can kind of like stay at arm's length from the Ryze, the Viego, and the Oryx. Not a bad idea here. You have a very strong front line already. You just need a good damage option to round this draft out. I mean, if you take away the Leona, I mean, this is what look. I think that JDG and Top Esports were too proud when they played against Team WWE, you know, Sam?
Yeah.
Because they did not do stuff like ban the Nautilus, pick the Leona, and suddenly Vampire is out of options in terms of support. He has the Rel. He will probably pick, I mean, Corky Rel's probably the option
right
now. But
now,
denying stuff like, you know, the Alistar is obviously a make a big pick, and then the Leona is too. But just denying Vampire some of his top string of carries can be really, really important here. And I think that JDG and Top Esports didn't really respect WE enough to take away their top champions, which is realistically how teams were beating them in Group Ascend. Last pick now for Rookie.
So, potentially looking at the Annie. A lot of pick, then with the Trundle and the Cho'Gath and the Leona.
I don't mind it, actually. It's good.
You can combo it with the Feast. The Ezreal can be your consistent DPS. I probably still prefer WE's flexibility in the comp, and I think they've probably got a bit more consistent damage, even if they are arguably quite short range versus an Ezreal, which can be a little bit tricky at points. Your ability to pick him off might be somewhat limited. However, if we then get to game 3, you then start to worry a little bit about WE's champion pools, perhaps a touch, as you were kind of noting.
They do get themselves a decent draft here. They have much earlier power spike than they did in the last game. I think they're much better at the one item spike with this kind of composition than the last one. Worried though, because what happens if Trundle, look, Vampire, in this case, because he's the engaged threat, he is the only engage. You're engaging into a Trundle pillar, which can disengage a combo. If you get ulted by the Trundle, because actually Rel doesn't silence you when she engages. If she goes for that crash down, Trundle presses R on you. You obliterate before you even get around to casting your Q in half of these fights. It can be a big problem. I just realized we didn't change our volume over one move to engage. That's fine. It means it's okay now. That's all good. I forgot about it too because I was talking taxes. Thank you everyone for joining us again, by the way, for another beautiful day of LPL. If you are enjoying what we're doing here, please drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe if you can, whether that's on YouTube, Twitch, or elsewhere. I mean, if it's elsewhere, then it's probably being restreamed against our permission. Onivia is with our permission, worth noting as well, and we'd love to have you in there as well. Anything you can do to support us makes an awful lot of difference. The LPL is at its most dire time of need. We have no official broadcast, and that means we need you, the community, to help us out. If you enjoy the LPL, if you enjoy what co-streamers like us, LPL English, I Will Dominate, Yamata Cannon are doing, show your love to them here and now. The LPL historic region needs all the help it can get to keep itself afloat, and your interest, your continued commitment to this region is what keeps us there. Let's hear those gyos while I get my coffee from the other room!
A worthy trade as far as I'm concerned. Let's have a listen.
Anything exciting in this early game? No, not really. People threatening to put down wards, but not actually doing it. And that's kind of it. It's kind of it. Oh, where did that volume go? Come back. That was scary. Ugh. It's doing it again. Stop this. It's silly. Silly, I say. Okay. Eats a Blade of the Ruin King. Not the item, but the spell.
Yeah, no sword eating here, no circus party tricks. Rookie, on the Annie, played this last time they faced WE. It was his late game engages alongside Gala and Mako's. I was against Taya and Vampire's Lucian Nami, actually. I remember that, because Vampire had quite a difficult Nami game. And they ended up coming out on top in the late game. It was hyper late game, that one. Went very, very deep, much like that first game. Seems like these two have a propensity for going the distance. Rookie starting with that Q will go for another stun here. Trading quite well. He's stun alive. Means he can potentially get himself towards a level 2 trade. Stun him into the W cone of fire. Bot lane, level 2 being fought over. I think that Taeyeon and Vampire will get the level 2 just first. Maybe not. Crash down used to go backwards. Good double Foss bomb, that. That kind of skill shot does actually last through lane. Rookie using the Molten Shield, actually. There's that level 2, not the cone of not the thing. The Disintegrate. Incinerate, the other one. One of those two. Anything happening towards this bot side? Yes, because Monkey, you could tell from that camera movement, something's happening here. Monkey walking over that vision.
Goes to look for something. He's gone for the free camping in. Flash on forward from Vampire, but Gala just arcane shifts away, and Vampire down the summon a spell. Monkey is here in the Harrowed Path. Gala tried to stay. Oh, he just missed the Spectral Maw. Tried to read the step forwards and didn't get it. Gala staying largely within range of the XP. Gets to pick up that one, dodges the Foss Bomb. A waste of time, and now Monkey's going to have to reset. The Trundle's got a full clear on him.
That's the problem. You do not want to be falling behind a Trundle in an individual matchup. That champion abuses individual power spikes like very few in the jungle do. Gala is going to have his recall stop. That is annoying. It is a slight advantage, and the wave is against them. You do actually need Jada to come down now just to fix that wave.
He'll try and get that reset off early here. I wonder whether he's got something like a tier on back, which might be a worthy option. Indeed, there it is. So Gala's like, look, I'm not going to be able to play for this wave. My health bar's kind of low. Back with the tier. I've survived the gank. As far as I'm concerned, job done.
Yeah, especially... Oh, wow, Monkey. Credit to him. I know that some people are saying that, this is a rookie team from WE. It kind of is in the way that these are still younger players than the rest of the LPL. Monkey there, though, just at his 100th game in the LPL. Reminder,
incredible.
This guy was on the EDG Doom squad with Vampire, one of the worst modern outfits in the LPL. Hit his 100th game now in the LPL. Often been a bit of a mercenary, brought in on short order. Rookie... might be afraid of a flash forwards, which is exactly what Karis did.
That was good music, as it happened, indeed. And again, it's also worth noting that people hit their 100th game in the LPL really fast, guys, because you get 100 games in a year pretty easily over here. Hang on. He needs to be a bit wary on the reset timing, and he's coming on over, so is Mako. They might want this play, and Monkey's going to be forced to flash.
Yeah, Monkey actually knows, actually, that's a problem if I end up getting chomped down by the Trundle. Once you get some levels onto that Trundle, the Q1 does a ton of damage, but also steals so much of your AD. You end up losing AD Brawler to AD Brawler fights very, very heavily.
And that's pretty unusual because Viego is normally pretty good as Taeyun. Going to get eating a lot of damage there. Throws down the Valkyrie. It's a long cooldown early. The Shy caught inside the Dark Procession. There's ghouls everywhere. They're the Pandas! Not the Pandas! Karis is in mid lane. And they'll get another kill there as well.
JJ gets that first real big pillar of the game. Monkey has been the guy that really started this up, in the LPL. Having such a good value here. JJ, a player which has forever been very versatile within the LPL. Right here, Vampire taking a lot of damage under here. I mean, pillar into stun, what do you do?
They will get that nice combo down, and they get the value then again. Rise, not that great without the flash into the Trundle, can be a problem.
The Shy on top side also surviving. Monkey heading his way up there, has no flash to force the play. Keep not that much mana to work things out either. JJ also on the top side, has that first kill. Not managed to have his first back yet. Can you get here in time?
Try and do something here. Gets the rupture time and should just get to back away from this. Enough minions died that the Shy was healthy enough. Has the Feral Scream. The Shy gonna maybe look a little bit further forwards. Does have the Trundle in the back pocket, but they're not going to turn around and try and look at it.
JJ's going to get his first back now too, which is important. Full Phage first back. Wow, yeah. That's kind of scary now. Because if he gets that chomp on you, you get slowed. He also gets that move speed. You don't get to run from this guy now, which is a problem. Because there are a lot of champions on WE that their only play pattern is to just run from you. Viego, Yorick. I mean, Rise probably can get away with the phase rush and the rune prison, whatever. But there are a lot of champions where if that chomp does land, and you do get in melee range of that Trundle, you don't get to escape the play anymore.
Throw down that Annie ult. And there's the chunk onto Karis. And again, we saw this a little bit the other day. From a few teams we've seen this just in general around the world, in LEC, in LPL, where people using this Annie pretty aggressively for chunk for wave clip.
Rookie has a stun back up, no flash now.
Rookie going to be jumped on here, doesn't have the flash, stunned up with the rune prison, and WE get one back quite happily.
That's nice that Rookie thought he had a bit of a safe window, didn't because of that flash.
Vampire now returning to bot lane.
Of course, is Rel one of his most comfortable champions too. These are the kind of games where W really need to pick them up because they do have their big comfort champions like Karis on the Rise, Vampire on the Rel. Akiba on the Yorick has also become more of a comfort champion for him, despite him being more of a more of a tank top lane player. Potential contest for this bot side. Pushing in bot lane first just to make sure that there's a wave under turret. Now going towards the dragon itself.
They get that engage on down. They'll get some damage. Hell, it doesn't really lead to too much there. I need to see whether the Trundle is matching skins with the Cho'Gath as well. If we got ourselves Fright Knight / Broken Covenant for the kind of cool, synergistic, spooky skins.
I mean, I would totally play for just an entire like Bloodborne series of skins, like on the Cho'Gath. That is such a cool skin. The Broken Covenant stuff is typically very cool. Wait, does Miss Fortune have the Broken Covenant?
She does. She's got the prestige as well with it.
Yeah, I mean that one's just too clean for me. It needs to be like more, you know, degraded and stuff, like in the way that Dark Souls is.
The base one is, and the other one is a bit more.
Well, that's what prestige is, I suppose. It's
yes. It's the Shy. Going to get them some caught in the dark procession again, but does kill out that wall fast enough and murders a few of those guns. Chomps the maiden and gets rid of that on short order. Probably a worthy trade of ults, honestly.
It is. For the first few ults of the game, when you only get to stack up to 6 max from that, but the first 6 ults you use on the maiden are effectively free at that point. You get the extra stacks onto them, and you get to stop Yorick from having an ultimate. Perhaps that's why Cho'Gath is being used more from Yorick. Into Yorick, kind of stops them from having much value. Multiple grubs now being taken by IG.
Gala does his best to get that wave shoved topside's cube. Actually getting shoved under this turret here. Mako goes around.
Without the maiden
coming in, it's gonna get tricky.
Without the maiden, he can't push up nearly as much. Mako flashes over.
Shield of Daybreak, flash in trade. Cube will get hit instead by a pillar and a Zenith Blade and gets chomped, and that should just be a kill. Getting a decent amount of healing back, but it's just nowhere near enough. And that's another kill for IG.
Zug Zug meet Zug Zug. Yorick and Trundle, both champions that love to just walk at you and press their Q button. Turns out that JJ has more help with this one, though. So the Shy chomps the maiden, means that there's no prio, means that JJ can walk up and get that kill. Monkey will take some camps on the other side of the map, but JJ's already done the same to his Gromp, so it will be a camp steal on either side of the map. While this is happening, Taeyeon is hitting the bot lane turret, but IG have 3 grubs, so they also kill turrets quicker, so they're still ahead, just a step in this big cross map.
Shy needs to be a little bit careful there, but Monkey won't full send into the bush, and so no real skirmish to be seen. Grubs were taken by IG, but the plates have largely gone the way of W in the bot side right now, though the Shy does get to clear out the wave a little bit there, trying to threaten Taeyeon with a feral scream or something. Can't quite do more than
really wanted a grasp. Sometimes you walk up and you're like,
give me the grasp, give me the grasp.
I really want this HP. Give me my HP. Can't quite do so. But yeah, IG, in plays like that, you must remember that there are 3 grubs on the side of IG. They will kill turrets slightly quicker. Mako roaming effectively around the map. Taeyeon forced the Valkyrie.
Ooh, shorts the Valkyrie as well there. Got a little bit dicey, but we'll be fine. I think if he had gotten hit by that, that would have been a Leona full sending afterwards, and it could have been a Corki in some seriously dire straits.
JJ up towards that top side, 2 kills now. This Trundle is going to be a huge problem for W, like a huge problem. If he ends up ulting, particularly the Rel later on after she's propped the Aftershock, that's the tankiest person you do get to kill. It's not like you're ulting a Scion or the Cho'Gath, of course, on your own team as well, but W are going to really struggle to kill this guy on good order. I think IG will be able to pin down someone in front of the Trundle once they've been ulted, and they're going to die very, very quickly. W used this technique to beat the 2 teams that they've come to this point.
Shy now gets a chance to demolish and use the 3 grubs. Hasn't got the Halo Blade, I don't think. It'd be difficult to tell because we've got the stacks to work with.
He's got behind him. There's a teleport behind him. Rise is coming through. Anyone else here to help? Not yet.
There we go. Flash away. Vampire coming. And we had just talked about the grasp, so I don't know why I decided, oh, Halo Blades. I've been watching too much Baus. That's what's happening. JJ finds a good pillar. Gets the stun on down afterwards. Does Annie and Cube again with no flash. Nowhere really to run. Monkey tries to come on in and then has to back away himself. Throws down the Harrowed Path and speeds himself away, but this Yorick is being well attacked by Invictus Gaming right now.
There might be an ult angle from Monkey there onto Rookie. JJ kind of shield out his mid laner. Good pill it. Well, I mean, you can just chomp it out, can't you?
Flash away, baits it, gets the stun, Solar Flare after, and Monkey eats the bait.
4 kill Trundle for JJ. Having a magnificent game in this second of the series into W. There is a teleport coming behind them now. They will spot it coming out. Rookie has no flash now. Is anyone else going to teleport? Rookie teleporting to safety.
He just gets out. They don't manage to do that last game to WE, but they succeed here. JJ chomps down the wall, flash for the Magnet Storm. I think JJ may well be traded back here. Still running as fast as he can. The Ignite on down. Isn't enough! Frozen Domain of the Morning Mist isn't in range either!
The Shy does it in game 1, Jeje in game 2, slippery players make it out of the play, and WE, there is the power of friendship with them. There is this hype story of underdogs making it through into top 4, but they're up against Invictus Gaming, who've never really cared for a narrative or two in their life. They just like to outplay.
Feral Scream and a Rupture. The Shy's going to try and stand and deliver at least a little bit here. There is no ult on Monkey quite yet. The Shy doing his best to trade back, but he is eating damage after damage after damage, even with the Hollow Radiance. I think he is surely just dead. Oh, no, that got close to it. 3 seconds on the ult. Not enough time for the Shy to bring that one back for a feast, and I got excited too early.
IG, still have a lot of time in hand, though, because W took so long killing the Cho'Gath, and they also did use double ultimates to do so with the Realm Warp, and, of course, the Heartbreaker as well. They should get themselves towards the Dragon. Cube getting turret plates on top side is annoying for them, though. No, he doesn't have the 3 grubs. It's still a Yorick. You don't want to give him that much gold in the early game.
At least you get your second Dragon here as IG, so that should be done. But I think Yorick will be getting this full turret, which should even up that early discrepancy he's picked up. Have a plate and a half to get, but I think with the Sheen alone, should be able to get some threat down. But I think the Shy maybe has respawned in time to defend that turret in at least part.
Rookie pushing out bot side, Cho'Gath returning towards top. Has that Hollow Radiance for wave clear, the Bramble Vest to deny a lot of the auto attack from W, auto attack damage from WE. They have 3 auto attackers. Rise not exactly involved in that list, but everyone else getting some down there.
I think it's also worth noting Monkey has gone towards the Kraken Slayer build on the Diego. We've seen a lot of Trinity Forces into Sun Disguise. We've seen a lot of Sun Sky Black Cleaver builds back in the day. Kraken Slayer is absolutely something you can do on the Viego, but I want to see what he turns that into. Because sometimes this one pairs up with like a Collector and a Immortal Shield, but you kind of go very aggressive on the I am the carry, even if I'm squishy build.
Well, I think Jeje is the carry on the other side, which is partly what informs this build. You don't want to go tanky versus the Trundle, because he just outvalues them that. You want to go as bursty as possible to try and get that slim window, and maybe you can outplay before he presses that R button. Of course, HP is HP, always very valuable if you can get that Triforce. It's not as like you build resist that heavily onto the Viego. I think just in general now that Monkey's going to have a hard game. Viego, one of the worst champions in the jungle from behind the game. You need your team then to let you into a reset, and the rest of the team is not exactly doing the best either. Mako having a fantastic game, has flash and ult.
Oh, Solar Flare lands into the Zenith Slayer, into the Shield of Daybreak, into overcoming Jeje, who throws down the Subjugate. Karis caught just on the wrong side of the pillar, but it doesn't matter because the Chomp comes on through and he dies regardless. Ulting over the wall. Degala, that's an interesting pick. Has got flash, was not expecting that. Maybe forced to burn it. Decides not to, interestingly. Thinks he wouldn't have survived afterwards. Monkey now with the body stolen. Gets hit by the stun. No, Monkey!
Monkey gets his first reset and immediately dies, and Taeyeon has no Valkyrie. He gets it now, luckily comes back off cooldown.
I don't think they can. They can keep hunting for more. The Zenith Blade and the slow. And he burns out Jeje, claims it off the red buff. The sad B emote feels very apt this game.
The champion which carried WE to this point, the Trundle, being used against them. 7-0. Jeje having a monstrous game. By the way, this is a very fun fact. I doubt it will stay this way, but we did a bit of trivia during a pause a number of weeks ago, where if we have a pause, we try and get you involved and have some enjoyment in that. Only 6 players in Tier 1 have ever won a game whilst also having all the kills on their team. One of them came from the LPL. I believe it was Fofo on Tristana last summer playoffs. That's what he ended up doing there. Most of them have been AD carries, weirdly, within the LCK. Jeje might be the 7th player to do so if IG somehow win with only kills on the Trundle, which would be that'll be aura farming in playoffs this deep into it.
Very much so. The Shy running at the Yorick, who's still not going to get that turret. TPM, Vampire on a flank behind, gets a decent engage, but Gala still manages to get out to safety. Mako just doesn't give a damn. There is no follow-up. Vampire sidestep the Solar Flare, but the Zen in range for the pillar. Comes on out. Morning Mist comes on down, but the rainbows that Yorick throws do not match the damage from Gala, who finally gets a kill on someone that is not Trundle.
And our Vampire's on a comfort pick of the Rel, but it's not an easy game to make things work. Normally you think, well, you know, there's a lot of immobile targets you can engage onto. You are the only engage. And if you do go in, you're very likely to get countered. Flash forwards, Taeyeon forced to cleanse.
He's going to cleanse, but then leaves Karis out to try. He tries to speed his way out. Oh my god, the burst.
Now, sadly, just as we were talking about that trivia, 2 kills picked up by Gala, so Jeje will not be the 7th major region player to win a game with all the kills on their team, but he did have a good 15 minutes of that. The Shy, I'm pushing up that top side. IG so far ahead. This has not been close. This has not been close at all. I think Monkey being ahead for WE is such an important factor for this team's wins. You look at like the top esports series, they ended up getting Trundle into Sejuani, unplayable for the Sejuani. Monkey gets ahead in that matchup. The team knows how to play around it. This time, though, they're forced to pick a Viego into the Trundle. Doesn't feel that great. And Monkey can't do that much with it. This is after the play, which just happened at top river. Flash forward, Tayin. Yeah, not able to turn and fight. Allows, it means that Karis, who's kind of left alone there, no damage to support him. Very quick kill, Rookie. Putting down so much CC and damage.
Turret top side still remains the bounty now. Cho'Gath's going to go up and clear it. I think it does just go down at this point to a quick combo. Got Thornmail now. He's 12. He's level 12. 7 stacks on the ult. He's got 3k HP to work with. Mako might be in danger here as they try to engage onto him. The mountain comes on down. The Shy in a 1v2 and just doesn't seem to care all that much as Gala helps murder that Rel alongside JJ, who picks up another kill. And then Gala will then get the existing one onto Monkey. Cho'Gath feasts the rise and everyone's just dying. Tayin and Cube need to keep running, but Rookie, with the speed up from the Molten Shield, gets another stun, and they just pick up 4. This snowball is unrelenting.
And WE, who have so often been that team that can do the creative engage when they fall just a little bit behind, have not been able to do so. Tayin, no cleanse, no flash Mako. If you can hit a Zenith Blade, maybe something more interesting can happen, especially with Gala bringing in the wave. This is free fall now.
I mean, just go find Cloud. It's a Final Fantasy at 20 moment, really. This game is over.
Did you just say find Cloud? That's a Final Fantasy at 20 because it's FF.
Yeah, I did.
That's a really good line.
I quite liked it.
How did you? Don't think you could just slip that in there and make it mean that I would just miss it. That's a great line. Dragon is now up. And while normally I would be against, destroying the Earth and its creations because it does tend to annoy Genova, IG might have.
I've got Mako. I mean Mako. I mean.
And Mako. I mean Mako. I mean Jeje. I mean.
Jeje 20. He's just. Oh my god, he's in a 1v2 and doesn't give a damn. And heal himself back up off the grub. Did not have the subjugate up and available.
And if he had that, would have been absolutely disgusting. Vampire now caught out a little bit too, tried to go help his jungler. That's the kind of play which might be able to turn things around, but Monkey just doesn't have the damage to beat out Jeje. He's way too strong in this Trundle.
He really is. He does feel a little bit like one of those Final Fantasy raid bosses. Maybe there's 14 of them. He's got actually 14. He's got 13 kill participation. He's one more.
I'm just saying, if any of you played the Ruin King game, Viego was a hell of a boss fight.
He was.
We'll say though, I mean, my favorite boss fight, I really enjoyed the Thresh and the Mariko boss fights. They were
cool.
really good. Honestly, all of the boss fights did a really good job of making the champions feel like the champions. Yorick had a cameo in there too, which was cool.
Fun.
Yeah, good times. And that's what we're reduced to talking to because look, the gameplay of this game, folks, kind of shown us what it's going to. W have not found a way to engage successfully onto the backline without falling prey to the Trundle. This Trundle has stopped engages, it has picked people apart piece by piece across the map. W have not unlocked their split pushes, and IG have very quickly used the Annie and the Leona to pin people in place for the Ezreal and the Trundle to wreak havoc.
TP bot side to back up Karis. They're playing for turrets because they can't play for the Atacans. Like, look, we need to get gold somewhere because I look at the top of the screen and I kind of wince. That is Soul Point. That is loads of structures. That's grubs. That is a 8,000 plus gold lead on some truly horrifying members. This Trundle is a one-man army. Do at least get that level 10 Rod of Ages. They get the turret, that's something, but it is minor victories right now. That's the first turret of the game when you've got a Yorick Rise comp.
The Shy will clear through this as well. Very hard to just kill him under turret. If this Cho'Gath has been shut down, maybe you could look to burst him out as he looks to defend this. You can't even do that there. Tayin getting another objective bounty though.
Let's try and get something there, but we'll dive for it. Gets the bounty and trade for his life. Arguably worth with no drag or anything to trade out, so you take what you can get.
They get double objective bounties. That is a win for WE. It's just, will it be enough? Giving up the Atakan means that IG...
A couple thousand gold back, right?
It does. You know, the Atakan for IG, definitely valuable. Kind of like helping their flower count, which was something that WE were also managing to stack up quite well. Tayin, not that far behind Gala right now.
No, he's not actually. Quietly doing quite well. And that's despite Gala being allegedly up in CS, got a lot of kills. He's only 400 gold behind. That's the power of bounties, I guess, right there.
I never really liked Coconut anyway. Shy and Rookie, solo laners teaming up again. Mako has ult.
Out comes the pillar. Solar Flare comes on down. Took me longer than I would have liked to get that one. True Shot Barrage splits the uprights. I think the Z-axis looked a bit funny there. I'm not going to lie to you all. Either way, True Shot Barrage does not. They do get the tier 2.
Getting stuff like flashes out of Cube, though, is a really big thing. I think Mako's had a great first 2 games. You know, the Alistair in game 1 had some clutch knockups. I think that here on Leona, he has been by far the better support. The support diff has been very, very hard, but I think the big thing for me, the support jungle diff has been so far in favor of IG in this game. Last game, it was much more even, and that's why it went towards that late game. Particularly in the jungle role. I think that Vampire and the Braum struggle a little bit more. If W want to come back in this series, they need to find a way to get Vampire into a more comfortable team comp. He's on a comfortable champion, but as the sole initiator into triple tanks with anti-tank potential. Look, realistically, a Rel engages onto a Trundle. What can you expect to happen when he's got 9 kills? You're just going to die. You need to find a way to have a composition where you don't have to deal with this kind of crazy frontline with so much CC.
Just have all the resist you stole, get stolen right back when Trundle presses R, and you go, well, that kind of sucks.
So you need to not have that in future drafts. WE, they have forever won through getting ahead with key playmakers whilst Monkey is also ahead, because Monkey has been a great facilitator. But right here, I mean, W, they fell apart very early. I think the laning phase was good for IG. I think that JJ's early pathing was very impactful as well. And IG, no, let's be honest, I mean, shout out to TFC and Chap, who is like the IG super fan in our community anyway. Of course, there are many people who are super fans of IG, and shout out to all of you. You know, TFC very rightfully pointed out, I think people are underrating IG too much. Remember what happened against Weibo? I mean, I was someone who's thinking, well, look, Weibo could take a series off IG, and of course they have done before. Didn't happen, though, and IG, despite not being, I think, like the hype favorites, because it's so easy to get on top of this W hype train and say, wow, what a exciting team to watch. They're an underdog story. They've got a lot of like players which we've never seen before, as like people coming into the LPL. I speak from the perspective of someone that's not been watching as much LPL. IG, now this is a team which has consistently kind of bodied teams below them in the standings, and they did beat W twice in groups, and you can kind of see why. Occasionally they just hands check you.
Well, they do. Baron, Thorns in 30 seconds, Dragon in 20. Sole point for IG. They can, particularly with the Cho'Gath Feast on top of it, make Smite fights very tricky. This could get dicey. Here we go. Frozen Domain comes on down. There is the Pillar of Ice. JJ gets stunned up briefly, but does not care. Does so much damage back. Finally gets to turn around. They turn the damage onto Monkey, onto Karis. Karis is gone. The Seraphs means nothing. Monkey flashes away to safety. JJ caught in the Dark Procession, trying to find some last rights, and unfortunately the only person who buries himself, but Monkey does get a reset. Gets the Leona, potentially important. Maybe they could be in trouble, but the True Shot Barrage claims another take and God cleanse away death. And Monkey in the Harrow Path might be able to find something, but he's caught between a rock and a hard place, trying to clear the way, but Karis, sorry, JJ, very much not Karis, will force Monkey away.
A brief moment, maybe a needle to thread there in the team fight with resets from Monkey, but they're too far behind. And Invictus Gaming, one of the original LPL teams, against their first rival in World Elite, the founding rivalry here in the LPL, hit their 16,000th LPL kill. 16,000 kills in the LPL. That is a mountain of bodies that IG have earned themselves over the years.
I mean, could it really be any other team? Has there been any other team who has been quite so aggressive? Smite fight over the Dragon! Not going to come down 2 HP it ended up at. And they might be looking for their 16,001th. Monkey is feasted by the Shine and crest them over the big round number.
There was a brief hope of stopping the Mountain Soul. Dashed. IG have themselves the Uber buff. No dragons for a WE this game. They got 3 in the last one. It has been a torrid time for them. It's a fun phrase, say that, torrid time. WE, they might be hearing that a little bit more if things continue this way. They lose this one. They've lost 2 games on red side. Even if they were to win a game, they'd have to fight back from the disadvantageous side here in the LPL playoffs. IG marching towards the Nexus.
1 game away from top 3. 1 game away from loss for WE. They have to find the reverse sweep from this point, and IG just look better. They have mauled this early game. They have drafted for aggression and fighting and skirmishing and all the things that make IG fans salivate. And the play today has backed it up. Convincing 2-0 so far.
And this is with WE dipping into their most powerful champions. Most of their top string are now gone. WE, a team which I think towards the end of Group Ascend started to get banned out more and more. And I think that JDG and Top Esports didn't learn those lessons when they faced them in the lower bracket. And I think that's one of the reasons why WE managed to get towards this point. Teams didn't respect them. I think IG are respecting their champion pools, which is not... IG are not a team which screams respect to me. But in the drafts, I think they have been. I think they've been much better at drafting against Team WE than JDG and Top Esports, which is not something which I would have said they would have done pre-playoffs. But IG, credit to them. This is a team which we expected great things of. This isn't the path I would have expected them to reach top 3, but they're very well on their way towards it. And perhaps we're in with a world where we get IG versus BLG for a spot at MSI. The Invictus Gaming Super Team, which looked kind of crap in winter, they might make it to their first international
in a long time.
Since 2019 Worlds. IG have not been international since 2019 Worlds. Rookie's not been there. The Shy, of course, went there on Weibo. Gala went there on LNG. Mako's been there on Top Esports, and of course, went towards one Worlds in 21.
With JJ even.
With JJ as well. IG and Rookie, that's the last missing piece of that. Of course, they'd have another series to go through. And BLG, they're going to be pissed that they lost to anyone's legend.
And in the manner they did.
But this is now the things that we need to start thinking about with such 2 dominant wins, especially with WE not really giving that much of a sign of life.
What I'll say though, listen in chat, listen. This is Invictus Gaming. The most Invictus Gaming thing they could possibly do right now is giga in 2 games in a row, get to game 5, and then look at Daney and say, we flip, boys. And it all comes down to the late game Elder flip. And tell me I'm wrong.
I can't actually say that you're wrong, because that is a thing which IG have done at points before. But now we have ourselves, game 3 coming up. We'll wait until the highlights come through. Do you need a break for anything?
What I need to do is tell people if you want to manifest the game 5, you need to subscribe. That's how it works. You've got to empower my prediction. You've got to throw the prime subs at us, guys.
We'll pull a lever in the background.
Exactly. I can't do that unless I'm given enough budget to make it happen. Like the script writers need paying.
Oh yeah, well, and in this case, we are the script.
We're the script writers, exactly. You've got to pay for us, otherwise we're only getting 3 games because I don't have the budget for more.
Yeah, we did write the script for you. We're trying our best here, folks. Yeah, we're sending Sam the singular brain cell that we share as a community.
That's the one, guys. That's the one.
That is. That's a very low amount of team damage from Team WE.
I mean, did they ever get to fight?
No, not really. Oh, what a great game from JJ. I mean, JJ has been a player which I think recently has not been playing well for IG on the whole. I think this guy against Weibo was actually largely out jungled by Tien.
Yeah.
And I think even in game 1 of the series, I think that was the solo laners that really picked up the slack for IG. I think it was Rookie and the Shy that were playing very well. But look, this is a bunch of players that have succeeded at the very top of competition before, and that's why we had hope for them at points. Didn't really show in regular seasons, didn't really show last playoffs, but now the first time that IG have reached top 4 since 2020. Yeah, 2020 was the last time they were top 4. For W, it's the first time that they've been top 4 since 2021 as well, of course. But for IG, something started to come alive this playoffs the later they've gone into it. Versus Weibo, is a little bit all over the place, of course. But IG, this is a team we know has a good upper ceiling. It's just whether all the players can get to that ceiling at once. And the answer before that has been, of course, no, they haven't been able to reach that at once. But no, there is just that question, isn't there? Where the more series they have on stage, particularly when it is such important ones too, like this, the more you begin to wonder how much further could they go? Of course, next up is BLG, but BLG, mortal versus anyone's legend. There's some poor performances from Bin and Elg. If the Shy and Gala play like they did in this game, not out of the question, is it? Not out of the question at all.
I'm gonna run, get myself another drink. I'll leave you with chat, behave. I know it's your chat, and you can kind of do what you want. However, to your older brother, I have to tell you, no leading them down into dark paths, Alex, like playing Ari. Can't have that. So
hey, Rookie played it pretty well in game 1.
Okay, that's why I'm worried, okay? You can't have more people doing this.
Yes, things were fine, Angie. It's all good. Okay, I'm gonna put some words on stream, folks. And, you know, it's the iPad baby time. Wait, did we get MVP yet? Did I just miss MVP? No, MVP is coming up, right? No MVP yet? You got it. Jedge, I mean, it was always going to be Jedge, right? This guy was an absolute just force of nature. Okay, let's give you your iPad baby time. Where's the words on stream? There we go. Oh my, hang on a second. 1 second. There we go. Oh, come on. Okay. Yeah, I gotta go grab coffee, so I'll leave you with iPad baby time.
OPPO Find X8 系列夜景人像神器，夜拍超清晰人像 MVP。
TCL X11H 领耀 QD Mini LED 电视，纯净画质，细节尽显，细腻光影，丰富明暗细节，典藏级影像体验。TCL
红冠战马。更受中国电竞用户喜欢的能量饮料，更受年轻人喜欢的中国能量饮料。中国电竞，当然有我，有能量，当然战马。
奥方电竞椅，职业战队的选择，连续5年中国电竞椅销量第1。奥方 G7 专业人体工学电竞椅，22项调节，提供腰颈肩全方位支撑。上官方旗舰店搜奥方 G7。
今晚碾压局。你的车
就这样了吗？或者说，
开局吗？
开就开。
Okay, iPad baby time continues.
买3C 数码就上京东，国补叠加也就换新4折起。买手机上京东，享国补加倍补低至5折购机。买电脑上京东，国补叠加也就换新低至5折起。买数码上京东，爆款至高24期免息。电竞键鼠3重补贴，至高优惠50%。打开京东搜赛事预测，赢1000元耳机。京东。
我觉得目前队伍的状态就是还是有点不稳定嘛。其实比赛中还出现很多失误，然后进入4强以后，感觉还是要好好提升，然后提升我们的团队配合吧。然后毕竟后面也都是强队了。下一场对战 WE 的话，感觉他们队伍最近是非常有自己风格的队伍吧。然后他们也有一些自己比较熟悉的英雄和阵容。然后在 BP 上我们可能要专门针对一下。这次对战 WE 下路的话，其实他们下路确实一直跟打野配合的比较多，然后经常打野会出现一些比较就是不平常的位置，然后去 gank 嘛，配合下路。然后这次对战他们的话，我们必须要多注意一下他们打野的动向。后面的比赛的话，就希望我们每个人都能发挥好自己，然后就给大家呈现出精彩的比赛吧。然后我自己的话，就希望自己能在对线和团战打得更好。
Hello, I'm back, and there's more words on screen. So yeah, the key thing that WE needs, they need to get a good jungle matchup for Monkey. They need to get a good jungle matchup for him, because look, JJ has been schooling him, really just schooling him. It's not been close in the jungle matchup. But I'm worried that they don't have the champions for that now. And what does he go towards in terms of a winning jungle matchup? JJ is a very good JJ is a very good jungler and a very versatile jungler when he's on peak. And right now, he's been playing good. Hey, dude, good to see you, by the way. And Shadowpexis, thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. Yeah. By the way, I did see someone come into chat earlier and say, like, wow, great stream. And I was like, is there a place I can get no commentary for this? And I'm like, why would you come into my stream and ask for, like, a clean feed? Like, I'm sorry, friend. Like, that's kind of rude. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not about that today. I'm not about that today. By the way, thank you, Amber, for being so diligent in chat. I do appreciate your morning work as well. Can I get a Nymaera only feed? Yeah, that's called a subathon. Maybe I need to. Yeah. Why would you want a clean feed unless you're casting yourself? That's a great question. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I think there is something nice to have a clean feed, but. There was a school of thought a while ago that people were basically saying that people would watch esports even if it was just a clean feed, so our cast is really necessary. And some people were saying that. No worries, Amber, it's all good. I've been trying to keep an eye on things as well. Ari only stream. So a while ago, I did do a subscriber goal of Ari every role stream. So I was playing to get a win in every role on Ari. Now, funnily enough, my Ari jungle I got in my first game. It was Ari top lane that was the hard one, really. Even though I'm pretty good at Ari top lane, it was pretty hard for that. Played in a stacked 5 and it made it a lot easier, honestly. But yeah. Ali every role. No, Alistair. Yeah, Alistair AD carry. That was the hard one. Everything else you can just about make work. Okay, into our third game. IG still on red side. WE still looking for a win. They have been schooled here from Invictus Gaming. And bluntly, I think the reason why WE have been struggling is IG actually respects them. I think that they had the underdog status where they could slip under the prep radar a little bit before. I don't think that's the case. They've not been getting themselves their key jungle matchups. They've not been getting themselves their key support matchups. And when Monkey and Vampire are not in good games, they struggle. What rank am I? I was Diamond 1. And then I stopped playing to go do casting instead. So I was okay, and I was a one-trick pony of Ari, back when Ari was not actually a very good competitive champion, so I think that makes me feel a little better about things. Right, into our draft. Anything bigger? Pantheon's not been played yet. That'll be a big one. Pantheon, Shinzao, likely the jungle trade, unless Neferi goes into the pool. And IG, this is the respect which JDG and Top Esports needed to have. They banned the Nautilus on the last ban. That's important. This is not something that IG, that Top Esports and JDG would have done. Now, I'm glad that IG have shown this respect to Team WE. They'll need to dig deep and find something else. They get themselves the Scion. There's no Gwen, there's no Rumble, there's no Trundle. A lot of the anti-tank is gone. Of course, Yorick as well. The Shy maybe goes towards Jace and looks to blast that. Typically, that's been his answer into it. And IG lock in the Lucian. Oh, if they go towards the Wukong as well, it's another good takeaway from Monkey. Plus, it's an anti-tank pick versus the Scion. I like this. You know, typically Wukong very good into the Lucian. It's also good into Scion as well. It's a good anti-tank pick. What's Monkey going to do? Does he go Shinzao into the Wukong? It's probably the best jungle matchup you can get here. Shinzao Scion, not a bad front line. Gives you some early game to prop up that as well. I think that's an easy lock-in. But then what are you going to do about bot lane? What do you do about bot lane? You don't... I mean, the Caitlyn's there, but there's no Nico. There's no Braum either. Caitlyn Karma does help you. That is a very, very strong early lane. Mako can still go towards the Nami, though. Monkey's going to get double jungle bans. And if JJ can go towards bot lane early... Well, I guess Wukong's not great, but hey, Sam, how's it going? Saying, IG showing respect in a way that JDG and Top Esports didn't. I think that JDG and Top Esports lost due to their own hubris. There is a Nautilus ban in the first 3 bans of this game. Good! That is something which you should do later into draft against Vampire. They also take away Monkey's Wukong. That's a very good anti-tank pick into the Scion. In fact, I wouldn't even mind seeing the Wukong top lane into the Scion if they want to flex it around and then get something which can infect bot lane earlier. That potentially could help.
What I will say is the game 5 that WE won to get here in the first place was off a really, really good Caitlyn Karma lane.
No, it was Caitlyn Nico. It was Caitlyn Nico.
You're correct, it was. Did they play Caitlyn Karma at some other point?
In the regular season, and it sucked because Vampire was not a very good Karma. Now he was. Now I don't actually think Vampire was a very good Nico either, but he did the laning phase well enough to make things work, and then of course had a bit more engaged later on. Caitlyn Karma, very, very dominant, but if you make one mistake and you lose the HP, it really starts to struggle after that point. Banning away the Karis Akali, I would ban away something like the Shinzao as well, actually, now from Monkey too. I think that's particularly important to stop them having early jungle pressure, because if you have the Shinzao, good early game, and of course the Caitlyn Karma, Shinzao goes bot lane once, the Lucian Nami can fall behind in the way that Jackie Love and Crisp did in that game 5.
If you can get to that 1 item spike on the Lucian Nami, you're feeling pretty good. The issue will be getting there without having been blasted early on by that Caitlyn.
All mid lane bans.
Very much so.
All mid lane bans. Surprised there's no bans towards Monkey. Because Monkey, I would have thought him locking in something like Pantheon or well, Pantheon is less good into the Wukong, but the Shinzao in particular I would have thought would have been a good pick for them.
Maybe they're just saying they don't think they're more worried about Karis having a bit of an angle here, and actually he now is potentially down to less comfortable champions as well, whereas I feel Rookie probably has more in the tank, you'd have to imagine.
You pick top lane here for IG, and you last pick mid lane, and I think what you're looking for from Rookie is something that can push early and go, just be a bit of a pressure valve for bot lane. The Nidalee top lane I don't mind, it bullies the Scion. I actually think Jace might be better.
It's more consistent, but it is a Shy special.
Yeah, the Nidalee is... The Shy loves playing this. It's a lane bully, and let's be honest, Monkey does not want to go top lane. So if the Shy gets ahead far enough, the Scion can really start to struggle. But if you do get into mid game, the Nidalee is basically not a champion.
Bit of a question though, who's got the better bot lane at the minute? And what I'll say is this. Gala's a great Lucian, but Mako is one of the best Nami players ever. He is so good at that champion, and that gives Gala a lot more license. I do think Taeyun plays a mean Caitlyn. He's had some very good games on that champion, and you certainly can get the shove there. But I think with who is playing, I might give the edge to IG partly because of how good Mako is on that champion. Spending a last pick here. The Aurora would be interesting. Be another good one-item spike.
It's good into the Sylas laning phase.
Yeah.
You need something which wins lane against the Sylas because you want to be able to win mid and push bot lane if at all possible. Now, if you had something like Ahri or Galio, you'd go towards that. Galio's banned, Ahri was played earlier. The Aurora, this is like the fearless consolation pick. Like, well, it's the best remaining champion we had left. Of course, Akali would have been good too. So, WE all in on early game. Shinzao heading bot lane. And then hopefully you can snowball for winning bot lane. One early fight from the Shinzao, Sion, Sylas just slamming home on a target. If WE mess up in the 2v2, if JJ gets an early play, if Rookie wins lane hard enough to go put pressure across the map, IG will take apart Team W's composition. WE must get the early phases of the game, the first few minutes of the game, to perfection. Otherwise IG will
become problematic.
Will become very problematic.
They've got the tools to do it though, which is you know, let's not take that away. And I think if WE can get out the laning phase with that Caitlyn very strong, and they've certainly done that successfully before, then suddenly you have Sylas, Shinzao, Sion all going on forward, empowered by the Karma, and Caitlyn a real threat in the backline. You can snowball pretty inexorably here, especially if you can just find those skirmishes, those front to backs.
That's a good word.
I love that word. It's really nice.
If W get ahead of the game, IG struggle. The Sion, the Shinzao, the Sylas, all very disruptive champions and good frontline. IG must not fall behind too early. However, it is Vampire on the Karma. It's not a comfort champion for him. He's struggled on picks like that in the past. Did win on the Nico versus Top Esports. The Karma Caitlyn, very strong CV2. The Gala Mako, decent form today. And they'll look to see if they can break that pressure. Let's get into that game, which could be the last of the series so early into the day.
Skin selections on point there. I actually don't know what that Caitlyn skin is. Anybody know? Is it one of the World Championship skins? DRX. Ah, of course it is. But onto the riff we go. Set the crowd yell, shall we? People getting a little confused between the IG and WE chants, I think. Oops. It's fine. Everyone cheered. Gala and Mako. Oh, welcome back, Locke. One of our most prolific hate watchers in Anivia's chat. Good to see you. Over we go as a bit of an early invade comes on through. Wards put down into IG's red side jungle. I'll try and do the same a little bit in the mid lane, a little bit over by that Raptors, give rookies some ability to watch out for any weird pathing angles, and lots of good early wards from IG. Look, they're everywhere. They've used every single one of their early traits.
Did IG use a bushwhack as well? That might have been the other thing. Did he start Q?
I didn't see.
This is, by the way, those couple of auto attacks, they do start to rack up. Level 1, getting free auto attack by the Nidalee, not the best thing ever. A good thing for WE, they do have a good jungle matchup in the Shinzao versus the Wukong, especially early on. That is something which WE have lacked so far. God, getting a great double tap. Double W into good double tap for the electrocute. That's the kind of trade which Vampire cannot allow to give them.
Monkey now coming over level 2 Shinzao, looking for the early pressure here, wants to warp this lane. If you can get flashes here, it's significant. They don't have wards to defend this. JJ is behind them on Wukong. Getting a little bit confused there between names and champions. Gromp goes down.
I think they should know this. JJ taking the Gromp there, I think that showcases that he knows where he is. Bot lane's not going to be able to go up in hell. Monkey trying to get ahead of the game. JJ no smite on this one, and JJ is warded.
A stutter in the feed, and maybe it'll be a stutter in this camp. There is no smites. I think JJ just has to give this up. Hit by the wind becomes lightning. Will Audacious charge the other way alongside the Nimbus strike. So I think JJ gets out. He really wants to stay in XP range at the very least, but Monkey gets that. Not a lot he can do.
Yeah, so Monkey going in for an early invade also helped out by the fact that his bot lane is winning. This is something that WE have done very well in the past. Another good electrocute trade from Gala, this time onto Tame. It's the one camp away, but that's the kind of thing which Monkey has done very effectively in the past, taking that single camp and then making it into a win condition.
Well, the trades have been good for Gala and Mako. They've still been shoved in. They've still dropped a few CS here in the early game because it's been the priority, the early pressure that a Karma and a Caitlyn can just throw out and continue to be so inexorable, is the word I was using in the pick and ban phase.
What's that word mean?
Inexorable, unrelenting, unstoppable.
That's cool. That's nice. I like that word. I'll use that in the future. Cube, I think maybe getting a tower shot onto the Shy. Vampire going a little too far up, but getting a good trade onto Mako. Splitting damage between Gala and Mako, not exactly what they want. Does mean that they both get value out of their pots, and of course can neither of them get as close towards death.
Going to pick up a nice double auto into the piercing light. Dodges the pilt over Peacemaker. Play on that one. Monkey knocks up a Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, and he's taking top Scuttle. JJ will try and rush towards bottom. Monkey doesn't have Smite. JJ able to get towards that bot side. Shinzao does have a wraparound angle onto mid lane now, though.
Goes across the Veil, avoids the wind, becomes lightning. It's a decent chunk here. There is an audacious charge. The weirding damage is good, and JJ is now around. Monkey has to be a bit wary. Level 4 from that Wukong, who then uses the Warrior Tricks to get some more damage down to Monkey, who has to flash out of fright and threat. And ends up getting the summoner in favor of IG. Rookie holds his nerve.
This Aurora pick, we talked about this in early draft. If Rookie can win lane hard enough, that's the pressure valve which IG might need to break things. Now suddenly, Monkey forced out of mid lane. Rookie winning mid lane allows JJ an angle on towards bot lane. Doesn't lead to anything in terms of kills now. But look how differently they have to play now. Suddenly they have to back. Suddenly you're losing summoners. Rookie on the Aurora, winning that early lane, does give IG a bit of hope in the early game.
Very much does. Again, CS lead is there for the Caitlyn Karma. That's to be expected. If it holds at this point, it's not enough. The honest answer, top side, the Shy, in a lane that's not going to get a lot of attention. Let's be real, gets to do what the Shy does on Nidalee, which is be really annoying. Dodges another win, becomes lightning. Rookie is being so annoying. This lands a two-fold Hex. Managed to get a decent chunk there. Won't get the passive proc, but I think he's happy enough with that.
And now suddenly we get the first good resets of the game. The Shy will be able to recall and allow his bot lane to escape that difficult matchup with the Caitlyn Karma. Yes, they are 10-15 CS behind. As you were saying, that's kind of what it needs to happen from the Caitlyn Karma, though. Before this, the Shy getting good plates onto the Sion. Sion now teleporting in. This is nicer of the Shy, though. What we might see is a quick shove in from Gala Mako, and then a teleport, a recall back again, which means that's both top laners down teleport, and Cube, Tane, and Vampire just a little bit slower onto the next wave. Yeah, exactly what's happening now. The Shy is going to push up the next wave. Gala and Mako instead will run bot lane instead and try and get into the 2v1. And try and get themselves a little more gold on the table.
Yeah, they didn't manage to get all of that wave, though, to Gala and Mako. Couldn't shove it fully, so we'll see when they get value. Because, again, they try to escape, but if they don't pick up a lot of this wave, that's suddenly gone from 10 CS to 20 CS. And that gets a little tricky.
Yeah, but the Shy, just being a wave ahead in terms of things, is probably going... It might buy either a plate or the ultimate from the Sign. Yeah, there is going to be a bit of CS drop there from Gala and Mako, so not the best... them, but still, again, hiding the lanes away from the Caitlyn Karma, a good thing.
Doing their best with that one. The early Berserk Greaves on the Caitlyn, very annoying. I know there's been some discussion about whether Caitlyn should go Berserk Greaves, actually, from certain people who are big players of the champion. We've seen, yes, the Berserk Greaves are fantastic if you're looking to get turret plates and stuff, but maybe not as much burst as some of the other options you can take, or just skipping boots for other options early.
See that the Shy trying to get the wave in so we can start looking towards the plates, dodges out Night Calviner and the ult Q. Vampire, you gotta hit those. Those are very easy to hit, but when they miss, you definitely don't like the fact that your mantra is in such a low cooldown, long cooldown.
Very much so. Gala gonna do his best to trade out here. Is about a level behind, or half a level behind, so wants to try and pick up as much experience here as he can. Get this next plate, does so. The Shy gets that, gets a bit of a chunk, stops Cube from getting his Soul Furnace proc on the wave, so delays the clear of that. And will in the end stop that back from being as early as that Sion would like.
Gala getting the double longswords as well means that his electrocute proc does get a little more value as well. Searching bubble into the brush. Vampire has his mantra back up and look for that double Q. Not stacking together. You don't want to stack together against them if possible.
Ooh, hang on. Did just relentless pursuit forward, so allows a good route. There's the heal in trade. Trap comes on down, barrier traded back, but Mako's only eats a lot of the damage.
JJ has level 6, he has level 6, this could be huge.
Flash, and they're walking into him! He's just going to be able to jump on forward as the Cyclone is Shy. Tried to hold on to it.
No, it was the heal from Vampire. Vampire heals to get the move speed, so it's actually an ult for a summon. That's a win for JJ.
Nidalee doesn't get the knock up and only gets the heal. I was hoping, I think, for both sides that they get a bit more there. Can't quite do it, but they'll take the win they can get.
Yeah, I think any kind of summon away from the Caitlyn Karma, often a victory. However, WE still managing to hold onto that bot lane advantage for now. Gala and Mako, of course, blowing their own summoners as defensive tools in that last plate. Means that they can't necessarily abuse that cooldown as well. Rookie running top side now, Cube. You already used his ultimate, and yeah, the tower shot's keeping the going forwards.
Cube going to be forced to flash there, stays alive, but the summoner down. And Rookie finds a potential angle up topside while the Dragon's going down. Grubs are up, and I wonder whether we might see some contest around that. But of course, Rookie's roam, that's actually going to cost him a plate here. Whether it's going to be entirely worth it. The Shy gets to keep putting pressure down, gets another demolish proc, so all things traded.
One of the mechanics there on the Nidalee is that you can throw your auto attack, go into a Cougar form, and get the melee form of Demolish, so it gets the full value. It's really annoying. So that's what he's doing there, getting full value. He's gotten, 2 plates on top side right now, close towards 3. Jeje heading towards the grubs on top side. Of course, very big win condition for Nidalee. If you're already hitting that turret, makes it even more deadly.
Jeje needs to be a bit worried here, because Karis can steal the Cyclone, and then potentially mess with Jeje under this. Will Nimbus strike towards that, avoid the Chain Lash? Where is the rest of the squad? Resetting from WE. Going to get here in about 30 seconds. In a moment here for IG to try and get as much as they can out of here. But Jeje doesn't get over the wall with the Warrior Tricks and needs to flash now. But Karis will follow. But now he's on the wrong side of this. Jeje just goes down though. Rookie's around. Going to try and trade this one back. The Aqua Prism just shy. Karis low, but does get to abscond away.
So Jeje, an overestimation of his abilities there, gets killed by the Q-Max Silas, gets the double proc of it, kill goes over, and this is where the game might start to turn really in WE's favour. They'll get themselves the double grubs, the bubble missing that.
Colin comes on down, gets a bit of damage back to his Gala, courtesy of that tilt-over Peacemaker hitting him in the head, so Taeyun manages that well enough, doesn't really get as much there, I think, from that early culling as IG were hoping.
Tried to get a barrier out of Taeyun potentially. The gold lead again, the CS lead, still hanging just over the 20 CS mark now, so it's starting to go a little bit further. But while all this is happening, the Shy is stacking up a Cull, getting quite far ahead of the Scion. He's one of the players which does get value out of Nidalee beyond just the laning phase, which of course is the worry for champion before this. Jumping in and seeing if he can trade well against Karis.
Ready to steal in the best way here. The Silas Steal, you get like a form, but it's not fantastic, and it cuts you from using your own abilities.
Yeah, also it was on cooldown there as well, so
yeah.
Wouldn't have mattered in that trade anyway. But yeah, in the 1v1, Nidalee as a bruiser AD pick, very, very hard to beat out. The Shy trying to match Karis, teleporting from both solo lanes to other sides of the map now.
This in the hole, lands onto Gala, but there's an ebb and flow that will be available at some point soon, so that will soothe some of the wounds, and there's that ebb and flow we were talking about. Gets a 3-parter, always feels good.
Taeyun going towards Collector first, interestingly. There was a heal summon effect, actually. Wasn't quite. But I mean, yeah, it is good damage, but it's not the full kill, which means that you can still recall. Happy to do so.
Is good. Manages to get the resets out of both, then that's going to give more priority for this Caitlyn and Karma to keep shoving. They've not been dissuaded from doing that all game. Even the attempt to swaps out didn't really get, I think, as much of that bot lane as they were hoping for.
But it did stop them from just like running rampant through that lane. At least the CS leaders held a little more safe in that point. I am worried now for IG in the fact that they haven't broken the Caitlyn Karma. They've survived, they haven't broken it. And then the worry is, of course, that you get towards mid game and things get big problems after that point in terms of the scaling into the team fights. You don't have that tank top lane. You don't have, the safe platform to team fight behind.
Shy has got a ward, so we'll know that people are coming to potentially mess with him in this. Actually, you're seeing that Monkey goes through that bush, wraps around, then maybe looks towards mid lane. Minute and a half until Dragon. First one was taken by W. They also got the early set of grubs as well. So the early game, this is more like it again from WE. Feeling a little bit more like game one. They haven't snowballed that heavily though. Again, the gold lead is next to non-existent, but it's where the goal is. It's in the hands of the Nidalee, which you expect. But on the other side, this Caitlyn is ahead, is playing well, wants to continue this pressure to make sure that Gala and Mako are kind of corralled and kept under lock and key in mid lane.
So overall, no gold lead so far. Gold lead more valuable than a Nidalee most of the time. Gala hits that first item. When the Imperial Mandate is hit on the Nami, that's when the lane starts to really turn around for the Lucian Nami. And the earlier you can get that, the better. Because then suddenly you go forwards for the Electrocute proc, and then someone just is 0 HP at that point. Very squishy champions are the Caitlyn and Nidalee. Caitlyn and the Karma, rather. Not that Nidalee isn't. And if Jeje ever gets an angle onto them, it'll make it that much easier to land that damage.
Rookie got himself the early Rod of Ages. Understandable, I think, into this game. You want to be able to survive some of the bursts. If people are building things like Collector, if you're into a Silas, that little bit extra HP does go a long way, I tend to find. Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. See whether anyone wants to play for that. Jeje has been pretty aggressively farming his own camps here and has got himself a mild gold lead, but I think on the Wukong, wanting to play for that Trinity Force makes some sense. The Shy's going to get a second plate down here. And now up 1,000 gold. And got the Cull nearly cashed in as well.
Triforce demolish the whatchamacallit, the thing with the heal.
I know it. Yeah.
The heal
Primal
which gives
Surge?
Primal Surge.
That's
Yeah, you actually did know what I mean.
Yeah,
That's the
I did at
thing.
the end. It took me a second. It's like, the heal.
Gets him double plates on a single wave. That's one of the reasons why the Nidalee top lane is so powerful in the hands of some specific players. Gets himself double plates, 1,000 gold up now in that individual matchup.
Gareth's going to try and go forward. Does get a decent Golden Duck combo. Gets the Kingslayer and the Petrotype Bursts rolling as well.
The Q missing there from Vampire Dragon. Up. Imperial Mandate just hit from Mako.
Root comes on down. There'll be a tidal wave to try and respond because, of course, there was the trap coming on down in Gala. Now left in tricky position. JJ off on the flank. Maybe looks to come on in, but so is the Shinzan. Also coming up. Bit of a messy exchange there as both teams testing. It's the clone that's being attacked by Monkey, but he gets his 3 Talon Strikes stacked.
No, some really good W's from Vampire, despite his Qs not being good, which is arguably the harder part, the easier part of the kit. The W doing well, though, from Vampire to allow that trap combo after CC into CC. That Q misses again. Again, he's missing the Qs, hitting the Ws. How does that happen? Dragon started, WE looking to get 2 on the board. And I don't think IG want to contest. They just want to bide their time, get a bit more gold before they face off against the annoyance of trying to unroot a Caitlyn Karma from an objective.
Yeah, between the Chevaliers and the Defiances, Rookie goes between worlds. I might have to discuss
Stops
that
the
a little
recall.
later.
Wave not there for a while yet.
The renewal comes on through. Garlet will get hit by the Mantricule, the Soul Flash. It won't be the renewal. Remember what the base form W is. I always have this issue. I don't remember exactly what it is. Either way, Garlet will be down at half HP. Aqua Prism goes wide. Mako not really landing those either. We'll try and let's pursue forward. There's a Chevalier plus the W. Threatens Gala enough that he has to flash away. The tether would have been too deadly. First one turns around as JJ trading with Monkey over the Raptors. Will look to ult. Rookie now coming over himself. Looking to find an angle. Monkey ults in turn.
So ult for ult, JJ could have flashed forward some more. Decent damage from Rookie. Rookie's doing quite well at trading on the Aurora. First turret falls, but still it's even gold because turret on the bot side from the Shy has been shredded so much. The plate's getting a lot of value. The Shy not really able to influence this kind of skirmish though. He's very fed, but not in a team fighting sense. WE get both dragons. They get 2 of the grubs. They'll go towards the Herald now as well.
They also then get the feat of strength, so those upgraded boots on the Caitlyn feel real nice. You have gotten that mid turret as well when you're playing a Lucian army. We talk about mid control all the time. They don't have it in the slightest right now.
Yeah. Again, even goldly, but the objectives stacking up towards WE are nasty. Cull cashed in for the Shy, which will be nice for him in the individual matchup. There's actually the magic resist item for Q coming through. Of course, there is mixed damage from the Nidalee, especially when you're building so much auto-attack damage. You get more physical damage, but most of your kit is magic damage. Getting another Grasp prop, and Cube just forced to just kind of eat this kind of damage, but he doesn't like playing around that.
Again, if you can get away with a Hollow Radiance, you really like to get a Hollow Radiance. It does feel good. You've got, like, Nami empowering people, and there's still the Aurora to deal with. So, you know, I can see how you can justify it, even if it does suck for the early lane, and it was always going to suck. So maybe you just say it as a wash and do what you have to, and in fairness, the rest of your win con is largely online. Again, the gold, not showing it, but the objectives are there, and the Caitlyn is now at 1 item with those upgraded boots.
We are getting towards the point, I think 2 items is where IG probably peak as a composition, because you get the 2-item Lucian, the 2-item Nidalee, and then of course the Aurora as well, very strong at that point. WE, they got, you know, good value on the Caitlyn up until this point. They have got to the Collector Spike, which is a much better 1-item spike than I think a lot of people realize. It's not the Yuntal, which is of course very strong. Herald put in towards top side. On the other side, Sion trying to wave clear out with his ultimate, and will be able to stop a cross map from IG.
Doing his best. This is still pretty low. Cube, at this point, caring a lot less about the Nidalee. Rookie's going to be here to try and defend his turret. Goes across the Veil, gets a weirding down onto Karis. Turret should be potentially safe between worlds used for wave clear. Gets a decent chunk there with a bit of Fated Ashes burn, and Mako empowering him with a Swift Tidecaller's Blessing.
Yeah, it's JJ on the bot side of the map to make sure that Cube can't wave clear as freely. The Shy will take this in the next wave as long as aggro is onto the minions, and it is, which means that the Shy will take this wave, and Cube now well, no, JJ doesn't want to go towards that. It's still going to be the Terran out then.
Be a fairly long attempt to kill him with the flash. Might be a little hard to consistently lock down, even if he doesn't have the unstoppable onslaught. Had to think about which unstoppable one it was. There is no Malphite in this game, so there is no force variety of said unstoppableness.
The Shy almost 2,000 gold ahead now with that Cull cashed in going towards what is it going towards second? But sometimes it's the Starix actually for the CC. Sometimes we do see stuff like the Sundered Sky though, or the Shojin. Can be either of them. Got like picking up the red buff from his own allied jungler. Not as far behind as I would have thought, actually.
No,
he's not like 1,000+ gold
It looks
behind.
like it should be with the game state, right?
Oh, the Shy went towards the hull breaker instead. Same build path towards the Sterex, but it goes towards the split pushing item instead and just goes, alright, we got one grub, it's good enough. Doing well against Cube in the one item matchup, but kind of surprised at that. I guess the thing about Nidalee is that you're never going to be a team fighting threat in the same way that other top laners are, so may as well just stick towards that split push and just try and play out the 1v1. If you get to deny the Sion from being in the fight, I think there are fights which IG win with a good enough Cyclone.
Mandate. Does go forward and get the Imperial Mandate chunk. There is the Renewal plus Shirelia's combo. Misses the inner flame. Bit of a heal coming on through, but it is still some nasty chunks coming on through.
Yeah, on the other side, though, you can see that Imperial Mandate starting to chunk back now. That's when the matchup gets more interesting. And of course, the trap they're missing from Teo and the Tenacity just enough. The Shy trying to get this wave into turret. It takes so much damage to Cube. Jeez, that hull breaker is nasty as hell. A level up now as well, just on the breakpoint. It's about half a level all in all.
Doing the best on that one. 20 seconds on Cloud Dragon. Cloud Soul could get a little annoying this game. Don't want to give that over to things like the Shinzo and the Silas in particular. Monkey, ooh, might catch Xie here on the reset. Empowered by the Tidecaller's Blessing. Remember, Nami passive will give you that speed up. Throws down the Warrior Tricks to Mako. Hit by that Soul Flare, the man.
Nidalee's teleporting bot side to be on the bot side of the map. Cube has just teleported top side. So W need to get out of that. The Shy will get towards her. Well, he can ult down the river. Remember, Dragon is spawning now.
Nimbus Strike into the Cyclone. Kara's going to get over the wall, followed by the Warrior Trick. So there's the slow. Can look for Cyclone Part 2. Looking to go between worlds. Flash over from JJ. Keeps himself alive. Kara's burnt out. And they get the Karma too. Monkey now in danger. Flash into the pit. Throws down the Crescent Guard. In goes Cube as well. Trying to get some value with Scarlet. In the back of the pit. As the Shy is just hopping all over the place. Pouncing on in. Cube caught in there between three. Flashing out. But Gala's waiting. Everyone deserves a second shot, or maybe three. Gala in danger, gets the barrier, trying to get the last auto down. Needs to watch out for the decimating smash. Flash out and gets the kill he was after.
This might be the play which sends WE crashing out of their dream road of playoffs. The early advantage is now broken. No third dragon for them from an early soul. No rollover of that gold lead. The Lucian is ahead of the Caitlyn, and the Shy on the Nidalee has an incredible first team fight of the game on the pick, which he has truly made his own. Watch back at this. The Shy teleports towards the bot side as Cube had actually just teleported top side, instead wanting to use that ultimate to join the play. But he's not there soon enough. It means that he can't counter Karis, getting absolutely blasted by Jeje. And his second Cyclone saves this team fight. If he goes down too early, I think this fight is still WE favored. But between that and then Cube not able to get into the position as a frontline, disconnected as Monkey as he jumps in before Cube is ready. IG smashed through the fight. Gala gets a ton of gold. They break the objective soul point win condition of WE, and WE might just have been out-teamed for in such a crucial game.
Arlo uses the barrier and then gets that last auto flash out. Just in case, gets what he was after and gets the value. Rookie with an insane weirding to get both Vampire and Karis and get out. Gorgeous stuff from IG in general.
Rookie's had an insane series. His Arya in game one, showcasing why he's one of the best in the world, and it is Aurora here as well. His Annie before. Cube will die, the turret's died as well. His ultimate stops. He has been, he's no longer a square, he's been rooted.
The Shy trading out with Monkey. Oh my days, there's Nidalee! Throws up the tidal wave. Karis going to the backside with the Abscond, the Abduct, but I don't think there's much to Abduct to make side for his own life bar. Over the wall goes Rookie with his between worlds angle. Vampire trying to speed himself up, but that means nothing as he's culled in place. Karma, well, you're perhaps meeting the wrong end of that side of the equation.
WE, they had an early game win condition, but unlike Top Esports and JDG, IG have out-teamed Fort W when they've gone for this early game style of comp with the Caitlyn. Invictus Gaming, the reason that they haven't fallen prey like the likes of Jingdong and Top Esports was because IG respected WE's champion pools. They got the value out of them. The Shy walking forwards and out-trading an AD carry as the Nidalee. Trap trying to catch him in place, but the Shy does not give a damn. He is 3,000 gold ahead. The Shy, fantastic series from him.
You need to snowball in this champion. He's done just that. Let's have a look again, because I think the Shy is the one who spots this off.
The thing about the Shy is, like, he is the only Nidalee top lane in the world that actually team fights well on the pick. People use it to win lane. He uses it to be an obnoxious brawler and vampire. They can't 1v2 him. They can't 2v1 him. God. He just turns it around. The hull breaker means every fifth auto attack gets an extra chunk of damage, and he's getting so many auto attacks down. He probably gets like 4 hull breaker procs in this fight, which do scale up your max HP. Nasty damage, and W just didn't. They don't know what to do about this Nidalee in the top lane. They have no idea.
I mean, who handles it? Especially if you've got the hands to just dodge your way through everything. Just keep pouncing around, keep getting those autos off. One of the other things about the Nidalee, much like we had things like ADRE, is your target access for autos is just ridiculous.
A really important point in chat as well. A cat with whiskers saying in Onavia's chat, no shame in top 4. WE, if they do bow out in this last game, completely agree. This is a team which I didn't think would make Group Ascend.
Yeah.
I mean, if you
they were a
listen
game off losing to Ultra Prime.
Yeah, they lost the game to LG. The Shy is going to get caught now. Quite hard to kill off, but I think he's dead to rights here.
May well be. They teleported in. That means Rookie's going to have a horrible time here. Oh, IG. They do this occasionally.
Rookie and the Shy both go down. Rookie trying to teleport to save his top laner. The Shy caught out. It was a good teleport from Cube to cut them off at the pass. IG will lose 2 kills. There's nothing to transfer this into, importantly, though. They're going to walk into the bot side jungle, try and take a kill into a kill, but I don't think there's that much they can do with this now. They'll have to take the kills and go out.
In game 1, when that happened, they got Baron, and that led the game stalling to 40 minutes. This time, there's not that to have go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the Atakan already decided of IG. They catch out Jeja. This is better, but they break the W tether from the Karma.
Still got a flash to work with, burns it. Monkey goes forward, the Audacious Charge. They've got the Tidal Wave. Over comes the Unstoppable Onslaught. Nimbus striking for the heal. Decimating Smash for the slow. Aqua Prism lands. Warrior Trickster. JJ gets the heal. Monkey eventually has to flash, but will likely be traded by Gala as a result. Karis tries to get onto that. Nami can't do it. And Gala's left to free fire. The Shy's TP'd in. Now Cube's in danger. They overchase into the Lucian. And he's always been a god at culling people down. A triple for that one.
WE buy into the chaos, and you might have adopted the chaos. IG were born in it, molded with it, and they didn't see a clean team fight until they were already world champions. Invictus Gaming, this is the kind of gameplay that they have thrived on no matter the roster. Even when Vampire was on their team, losing against his old organization as their old classics came to them. Now the Baron spawns. IG get ahead of it. When with the jungler dead, this should be a free take.
Oh, it is. Suddenly Gala comes away with an unofficial quadra kill. Monkey's back. Gonna feel very frustrated about that one, but what an outplay by Gala and Mako at the end of it all. Bought time for the Shy to come back on in, and they just stand on business. They've always been known to do it. Sometimes at least TP's in the bot side, and sometimes they just dance all over it.
Even the teleport earlier, in a different world where the Shy lives a second or 2 longer, it changes things. But JJ probably should know better than this, folks. You know that they've just run through bot side, but I think real credit to him to say, look, I can split the difference here. I can cut them off at one side if I've got close. Wukong's hard to kill. Very hard to kill on the whole. Nami manages to buy some extra time, extra mobility from the Warrior Trickster. Taking so long to die means that you get multiple procs of the Imperial Mandate from the Nami, which brings an incredible amount of damage. The reason why Lucian is so good is not just the Imperial Mandate and the Electrocute kind of all stacked together for a big burst. His Vigilance passive, when he's healing and shielding, means that his DPS goes through the roof when there's continual heals and shields come through.
As long as he can keep cycling through those passive autos, he does so much work. The Vigilance there, empowered by the Thornbow and Atakan to get additional people low after you get that first pick off. It's nasty stuff.
Oh. And someone in chat also as well, Mecha, the full red side win VAT narrative though. That's important. IG, not only on the precipice of 3-owning WE, doing it from red side, just like BLG did to them earlier on. Winning on red side can be a very difficult thing to do in the LPL because, as Sam was talking about before, I think he really nailed it there. Blue side is easier to draft around for teams which are unconfident drafting because you can pick one power pick and then just mold things around that. Counter picking and staying within a good composition, very hard to do unless you're practiced with a number of different picks. That culling starting to become a real threat. IG threatening them on the inner.
IG have always played to the beat of their own drum. The Shy on the Nidalee top, a prime example of that, and when you can do that in a game 3 here that matters, could be pretty good value, and I can only apologise for what is a mighty caster curse. He's finally going to die!
How does he live? How? Only the Shy can live like this. I don't know how he's done it. I don't know how he's made
spelled the curse.
I don't know how this man has continually found a way to make the impossible happen. Taeyeon flashes forwards.
Gala forced to flash. That trap got a bit scary, and instead it is JJ who clearly took the fall for his top lane. Oh, 1-for-1.
The Shy makes it out alive. Jet dies, protecting his AD carry. WE with not a bad flashback. Remember, this is a survival game for WE, a team which by all means should. It's just like Samwise. By all means, Mr. Frauder, we shouldn't even be here. When they're at the foot of Mount Doom, sadly, they will not be the ones to carry the ring up to the top of Mount Doom of the LPL mountain of playoffs. IG might have an extra chance to defeat the Dark Lords BLG in the next round. Villains to some, heroes to many. IG will want to see if they can become the protagonist of the story. Karras, he's had such a good glow up on this playoffs run. Karras, a reject from the LCK mid-table, bot-tier table team, does such a good job trying to find this playthrough here. The body block from JJ saves the Shy's life.
And in perhaps a universally funny number to hit, he goes down to 42 HP, the answer to life, the universe, and the Shy's health bar.
Yeah. Where were you when Hap Gondor called for aid? Where was Hap Gondor when the Westfold fell? Many questions. Many such questions answered here on the Nymaera channel.
The Twitch stream is lit. Hap Gondor calls for viewers.
And Olivia shall answer. Red buff taken. Significant gold lead. IG. You know, we did say later the game goes, the worse things get for them, but I think they've reached such a gold lead now where the Lucian is going to completely destroy the Sion. The Sion is not the front line which WE needs. They're not going to be able to defend against the mixed damage, the mixed tank shredding of Leandries, of the continual DPS from the Lucian. Of course, you've got the Black Cleaver on the Wukong as well. I don't think WE can functionally teamfight unless IG makes huge mistakes.
Not anymore. 7,000 plus gold over to IG. Makes that 8.5 as I do my maths again as the turret goes down. Ain't getting easier. At the very least, Taeyun is somehow within touching distance of this Lucian. 201 versus 704, and it's still only 200 gold lead. I just don't think it's enough at this point in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, Taeyun, he's been getting most of the farm for W is the real answer to that, right? Because while he has a 50 CS lead, mid lane down 30, top lane down, 40 as well. So Taeyun's been fed the farm to try and power farm in 3 to 4 or 5 items. Caitlyn is not great at late game team fighting in this kind of game though, where you need to not kill one person, you gotta kill 5. Because killing one person, if it's easy in front of you, Caitlyn can do that. Because she's not an area of effect champion. She hits a single target, she hits them very hard. You're gonna have to hit 3-4 carries. Vampire, yeah, you don't want to walk into that, Lily.
Did not enjoy that experience. It's down 5 levels, by the way, currently, so not a fun time. Karras seems to be very afraid. Flash, Nimbus Strike, looking for the Cyclone. Wow. Just hijacks it. It does not matter. Oh, my days.
Karras become very mortal. Base will be broken. Vampire was spotted on top side, which means he couldn't be in mid lane to turn around the play. IG find the mistake first. Inhibitor down.
JJ force sends it. Taeyun heal. Sped up by the Shirelles keeps him alive, but on very low HP, and the inhibitor has fallen as a result.
Victus Gaming. It has been 5 years since they've been a top team. You know how long it's been since they've reached a finals? 2019.
Oh my days.
A year before that as well. Pretty sure they didn't make it through to the finals in 2020. WE, they reached top 3 in 2021, just a year after IG were kind of bowed out of top 4. They had that incredible lower bracket run to sadly just miss out on regional finals, I believe it was. They made that lower bracket, that gauntlet run, then knocked out of the double elimination format.
Bloody hell! Flash from Vampire. Rookie just casually throws a couple skills at him. Looks like an Eagle Strike coming on in.
Eagles never miss. I've been playing a lot more Helldivers.
Sweet Liberty yells at me.
Maybe Liberty Malang! Baron's going down as IG will claim what should be the victory march for them.
Shy. Now in mid lane. Monkey goes on forwards. TP behind. The Shy going to try and mess people up. There's Vampire. Now caught in an awkward spot. Rookie eats the ace in the hole. That means nothing. Monkey flashes away. It doesn't matter. In goes Q, the unstoppable onslaught. It looks very stoppable to me. It's a lie. As the Shy dodges the abscond of Duck, trying to throw down the redemption to hurl up. The Shy's not needed. Karras now having to run away from the Shy. Just keep dodging everything. Waiting for the Zhonya's, and unfortunately, it's a moment before disaster, a monument to all WE sins.
The dream comes crashing down. The power of friendship takes them so far, but no further. Invictus Gaming, in their first time in top 4 for 5 years, will go on for one last match to see if they can qualify for finals versus BLG.
The miracle run ends. The first dance of WE ends. In place of Invictus Gaming, the super team awakening from their slumber. They are top 3. They march on to face down Billy Gaming, imperators of the LPL. How far can they rise? The narratives just keep getting better. But for now, WEs will come to a close.
A thrilling underdog story for Team WE across this playoffs ends here. Congratulations to WE. They have outperformed my every expectation. I'm sure there'll be fans out there which bought into the hype, and I hope you enjoyed this story. Come back and watch them in summer. I hope they can deliver the same again. It's always good to see one of the old gods, this old rivalry of WE, IG, from the very dawn of LPL, come back to fruition. IG walk on away from this though. They were by far the better team. 3 wins on red side. WE finally paid respect to. IG made this look like a child, a walk in the park. It was child's play for them. And they will see themselves to top 3 for the first time since 2019. 6 years since they've reached this point. I think Rookie and the Shy had fantastic series today. I think Jeje, besides a bit of an awkwardness in the first minutes of the game on the Poppy in game 1, fantastic series today. That Trundle will go down
in infamy.
In infamy for Team W. The pick which had seen them to this point, that Trundle used against them to nail them into the ground. And I think Mako massively support gap Vampire today. Vampire, often one of the more flashy playmakers of WE, shown that there is a level above him, that he was schooled. It was still a good contest, and WE, pleasure to see them go towards this point. But clearly, there is a level above them that they are yet to reach, and they'll have to wait till summer to see if they can reach it.
I'll echo the sentiment in chat, though. No shame in top 4. No shame in making it this far. But we have got our top 3 now. It is anyone's legend, who have finally made an international, not just an awesome logo anymore. Billy Gaming, the recent LPL great of recent years. How long have they been ruling the LPL, taking over from where JDG left off in 2023? And now IG. The team that kind of really brought pride back to the LPL. The first world champions from this region, a legendary organization full of legendary players, finally coming alive here in the spring playoffs. On final slot for MSI on the line. Can't wait to see who it'll be. Guys, thank you so much for watching here. I'm Initialise. That is Nymaera. We are brothers. We cast the LPL here every day it's on, basically. It's a pleasure to have you all coming in and following the live in 3 different locations at once. It could be on Nivea's YouTube channel you're on. We see you all in there. Could be the YouTube chat. I say hello to all of you hands. Hola. And the likes of the Lanky Wanderer. What a great name there as well. Over in Alex's YouTube chat. And of course, the OG Twitch chat as well. Thank you so much for coming on in here, guys. Thank you for all the additional follows. Hey, Brat, good to see you in here. Unity, TFC, I see the whole crew in here. Thank you for being in here. For those of you who have not subscribed, not followed, please consider doing so. We do this off our own backs, basically, and we're reliant on community supports. For those of you who do have that ability to throw a Prime sub, throw a gift sub out in the Twitch chat, does make a massive deal. Consider following us on the socials. Just hit 8,800 followers on the Twitch chat as well. Doing a really good job growing that one up as well. But thank you so much all for coming on that. Alex, any additional shout-outs from your end?
Of course to you, Sam. I wouldn't be able to do this without my brother, Sam. It's an awful lot of work. It's only us two which do this, and I only get to do this because Sam has made himself available and has such a great skill to be able to do this as well. Love you, bro, and it's a pleasure to do this with you, especially when we get to have these kind of series when there are a lot of people, I don't know whether there are only people in chat, probably a great many, maybe the lurkers as well, who don't watch as much LPL, and they tune in for the last few series of the playoffs, where we get to just dump all of the stuff that we've learned about the teams, because you don't get to learn this stuff about Team W and IG or whatever teams come out of the LPL without putting in the time and the effort to watch the games and learn about them. We do this so we can then deliver that information to you at this kind of point. Talk to you about the underdog story of WE, how they weren't expected to be here, and that's why it's special. IG, how they underperformed last split, means that it's special now for them to perform at this point. That is why we care about these performances. They will go on to face BLG. The story might well end there, but it's the due diligence of streams like us and LPL English and the other co-streamers as well that allow us to give you that information for why you should care about this kind of series. Thank you so much for the gift subs in chat to Brackish, gave about 5 and Mecha another 10 as well.
Oh my
WE, their playoff stream will end here. Give them a bow, folks. Honestly, this team vastly outperform expectations for them. I am excited to see what Team W will do. A team of misfits and rejects from other teams and other regions finding a home and finding success together. It is always very exciting to watch a team be more than the sum of its parts.
Oh, well, again, thank you all for that lovely support, guys. It does mean a huge deal. I will be on this evening for EMEA Masters. I'll be co-streaming that, so please come and join that. I don't think I'll be streaming straight after this because I think I need to take a break. I feel a headache coming. I want to be alive and won't functional for tonight. So please come in and do that one. Aragon got hit by the sub. That's fabulous.
Okay,
Well done.
By the way, folks, real shout out to Aragon. He has been like the cheerleader for Team
so
WE.
well done from him.
Yeah, Aragon.
He picked his champions
He did.
well.
Now, I will say, I think teams underestimated WE, and I don't know if they'll achieve this again. So enjoy this where it is. I will be on the other side of that coin.
We've got
It's only fun if there are two sides to this. I will be your vampire hate. I will be the villain that you deserve in this story, because I will sit here and I will shit talk every misstep that poor vampire does, like in this 1v2 where he does shit all to the shy on the Nidalee here. I will be that guy. However, it's only fun when you have someone on the other side of it, like Aragon, who, real credit to him, stuck to his guns, really stood by this team, and despite their journey ending here, has made a story for themselves.
I need to do some content with the two of you. I give you like a minute and a clip each, and you need to determine.
Can we also get baseball bats, or is that
No.
Actually, no. I've seen the size of like his biceps. He
could bench both of us simultaneously.
Yeah. Now, if you give me like a fencing sword, maybe even playing field, but like that's a bit unfair of a matchup. Alex has the chat Aragon wants, and the other way around. Yeah, I have a lot of Aragon. I have a lot of vampire lovers in the chat, which.
Aragon's got a load of vampire haters.
Really?
It's very funny.
Oh, are you kidding? That's so
fantastic.
funny.
It's fantastic.
I didn't even realize that was the case.
Yeah.
What we should do is we should give each other's stream keys and stream on each other's channels.
Oh, that would be funny.
That would be very funny. Well, thank you everyone for hanging on with this. We're going to end the stream here. Sam will go and take a rest. If you're on YouTube, the stream will end here, and if you're on Twitch, we'll find someone to raid you over to. See you in a bit, folks. Bye.